Alright, Squad, the guys gonna be down here coming to you from a South Japan. Pinku. Stock got my guy Lex back in the saddle as always, and we'll get on some stuff in a second, man. Anyway, Lex, you know what's been up since the last time we talked, man, that you could talk about?
Man, so I filmed a TV show.
Yeah. Oh, so you can talk about it now.
I can't fully, but I'm going to. I'm not going to talk about what it was, but yeah, dude, we filmed a reality show that was very real. So that was exciting. So I'll send it around driving. It's going to be on TV, not Netflix, not Hulu. This is going to be very interesting.
Nice.
And other than that, I've still just been driving, getting back to my roots of grip. And Sonoma Drift starts back for us this Wednesday. So I'm knee deep in the shit, man.
Yeah. Hey man, that's what's up, man. Like I say, we were talking about towards the end of the last season, and you were like saying, like, you know, I mean, you put a lot of time into stuff, and like you know, being a you know, nobody's like being a clout chaser, man, but you got opportunities to do things, man, and like I mean, pretty much right after you said that, it was like a little bit after that, it seemed like something that came down. You couldn't really talk about it, and then it went on, man. So you're saying cool opportunities are coming up, man, and that's all it's about, man. Is keep grinding. People notice you out there. People know you, man. And the thing about it, like we said before, dudes try to act like, you know what I mean, who's son? And then soon as son is around some other sons, you're like, oh, that okay. Like it shouldn't take another dude with a little bit more, you know, notable clout to have to bring you up. I mean, you did the work.
Yeah,
man. You did the work, man. So it'll show and it'll pay. And then I guarantee you, man, after this thing drops, we're already on board for years. So it ain't gonna be no change with us. And it's gonna be a lot of co-signers, man. I could predict it.
Hey, man, it's that'll be weird, but
yeah.
You know, I'm a regular guy. You know, and the cool part about me though is since I've been in it for years, whether it gets better or it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. I'm pretty much set in my trajectory, my path. If this opens doors for people to kind of see a little bit, well, let's just say look a little bit more to the avenues of what I'm doing and where I'm at. Cool. Yeah. If not, I'm having a blast because, you know, like you said, we've been down for years. Strictly off video games and social media. So, you know, I like to think that like I'm the best kept secret.
Man.
You know about me or you don't. Either way, it's like I'm a dope person.
It's dope. You know what is dope, man? Because it's like a lot of guys I notice out there, man, they just wait to get on to start putting in a work, and with the guy, they don't realize that doesn't work because now with the way I mean, it ain't really about who you know personally. It's like how many people follow you, man. Like that's the thing. We go to most companies now. Their one thing is like how many. It's like they got it right there, and I like how many Facebook, and they want a screenshot. How many Facebook follows?
You and I are from the world of resumes. Yeah. Isn't this strange that you don't have to bang up a resume no more? It's just like, yo, check me out right here. I'm gonna forward this to you.
Yep.
Tag you in on this.
And if you don't have one, it makes you look weird. It makes you look like you got like they like, man, this dude antisocial. He don't know nobody.
Yeah.
And like there's a few cats that just like, and I respect it because my brother is one of them. Like he got Instagram, but he doesn't. My brother under me, he does not want anything to do with Facebook for whatever reason. Maybe he got caught up, and that was traumatic to him with a girl or some shit. I don't know about it, but
leave me
generally
out
that's what a bad divorce or somebody got real caught up, and he like, man, fuck this, man.
Life-changing events will stain you on a lot of shit.
So I ain't talked to him on that. Well, I'll get him on there and rap about what his reasons why. But you know what I mean. But the thing is, my brother, I know him. He ain't antisocial. He's known. He got a business. He just don't want to fuck with Facebook for whatever reason, man. That's his thing. But anyway, man, it's like when you go to a job site, and I tell guys that if you're going to go work for a government job or you want to work for the government, don't delete your shit because they'll see it and they'll
find it,
and you won't get selected because they'll know that you're trying to hide some shit. So when you're going for a government job out there, guys, keep your shit open, modify it, but keep it up and everything, man. But anyway, on that, man, like I say, it's just good stuff, man. I'm looking forward to it. You know, I can't wait to see it, partake. And yeah, man, and then chop it up on the posting and see how everything goes, man. So
it's gonna be very interesting, dude.
Yeah.
It's a twist.
Yeah.
From what you may expect. This is 100% real. You can't stage this. You can't stage this.
Dude,
like
that's awesome, man.
It's very different. It's the first of its kind. It hasn't been done before. It hasn't been done on television. This shit is going to be pretty dope. And, you know, I can't wait to share it because I think for me, like a lot of people that know me that are on my social media, they know how I drive. They know I'm a driver. That's never going to be in question. But what I got to show was my real personality, like what you get here, because we're boys, and I free myself up and open up. A lot of people don't get to see this part of me, so this is gonna be like, depending on how it's edited, you know. But this is gonna be like naturally me, and people are gonna get to be like, because I get it. Like my wife will say her coworkers and shit, they be like, "Yo, your husband look mad mean," and. You know, yeah, but you know what I'm saying? I think that's something that goes around with a lot of people. Like yesterday at the track day, I'm chilling. I'm in my pits. My car's right behind me. This dude's eye fucking it. He's walking around the car. He literally came between my truck and my trailer, like walked over the hitch. So, you know what I'm saying? The beeline to my car. And I was like, the hell? And he's asking the dude next to me, that's currently working on his own car, is this your car? Like, dude, he's working on his car, right? Dude's like, nah, it's his. He pointed to me, cuz looked at me and was like, bounce, no longer interested.
Yep.
Don't know what that was about, but I don't know if it was.
Yeah. I
don't know if it was off-putting or what.
Nah, trust me, dude. I've gotten that same treatment from Japanese.
Yeah.
Like I get it from Japanese actually once a month here. No shit, no rusing up, man. They'll know. I don't hide my skin color on the thing for like on purpose and everything, but like I normally wear like a pair of white gloves when I'm doing some stuff or whatever, just protect my hands. So when they show up and it's nothing. There's no big ass picture in my face like saying black owned Pinku style, you know what I'm saying? So they figure it's another Japanese shop because they see all the cars, right? So they rock up, and I swear, man, it'll be mostly older cats. They'll come in here and they'll think I'm a junkyard for like cool cars. They'll pull up in, then I'll walk out to like meet them, you know what I mean? Because like I told you before, man, I catch dudes before they get out the car. Like it's like what you want, what's up? You got an appointment, you got to bounce.
And they're like, show me to your leader.
Nah, dude, they'll do that. They'll do the shit like they're doing a fucking U-turn. I'm like, nah, dude, you coming in here to check some shit out, and then you see me walking towards you, and they got all the Pinku on, so you know I work here. You know what I'm saying? So they'll bounce out, man, and they just don't want to. They don't want to speak English. They can't speak it, or they just like, man, gaijin, dame, which dame is like bad. They don't want to do. So I'm like, cool, man. Hey, you know, it's cool. And then I had one cat did it to me. Then he came back a year later and for a service. And I was like, I'm not interested because he came to my shop and he's like, Sacho Doko, which is like, where's the manager? I said, I'm like, Watashi Sacho. So I'm like, I'm the owner. I'm the boss. He's like, and he's like, oh, okay, Daijibu. And he walked away. Like, there was no business card, no nothing. So then when he seen a business was like, growing, he came back. And what he was is they go around into the businesses and they you pay a fee, $2,000. Sorry about that. You pay about $30 a month for them to put your name on a board. And people like they come to Masawa like, all right, this is where all the automotive shops is, this is where the food shops is, the mom and pop type shit. And then I was like, nah, man, I'm good. I don't need your shit now. You didn't want to talk to me a year ago, so you ain't gonna talk to me now. And that story right there, man, I related to like, once that TV show hit, man, I guarantee you, man, you're gonna get a lot of family out the woodworks, a lot of people who, you probably inbox and that's marked scene, because everybody gets the scene, man. I don't think nobody's above getting a scene mark. You know what I mean?
Getting the scenes is funny.
Yeah, man.
There's this really rich ass baller ass dude that we follow each other on IG, and he does tons of track days. He owns every single model McLaren, P1, Senna, 600 LT. He just bought a 765, didn't like it because he said it wasn't as trackable as the Senna and it wasn't as comfortable as the P1, and he got rid of that. He just got rid of his 600 LT and got a 620R. Anyway, long story short is he has every model. He's got a few notable Ferraris, baller ass dude, but serious track guy, right? And so he'll go do some track stuff. He doesn't work on his cars himself. And sometimes I hit him up like, yo, work on it yourself. It's really not that hard. It's very simple, especially consumables like your brakes and things like that. Like, do it yourself. And at first it would just be scenes, right? Then somebody else convinced him to do it, and he did it and was like, oh, this isn't that bad. Then I chimed in on something. Then he'd start responding. And I was like, oh, all right, cool. And then he'd get to another point where I'd message him or talk to him about something about lap times or some shit, and then it'd just be the scene. Or maybe he'll like your comment, or not your comment, but like your DM or something. I'll be like, oh, damn. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Sometimes I guess you just got to catch him on whatever specific thing it is he'll respond to. But yeah, catching them scenes, you got it's a ego checker.
Yeah, it is,
because you're just trying to have a simple conversation. It's really not about nothing, but depending on who the person is, they say something, you could be like, bitch.
Yeah. It is crazy, man. That word fucking scene, man. That 4 letters, man, like can cause so much, like, oh, well, she ain't feeling me, or like, fuck that bitch. It's like, even with me, man, I mean, honestly, I got mad at like one guy, man, and I called him out on the public domain because he was like, he would come on my shit and talk in the public domain, but he wouldn't respond to the messages. I'm like, dude, I messaged you like a bunch of times, and I'm like, and it was over some shit, with whatever. And I'm like, the thing is, I'll see the guy when I see him. You know what I'm saying? Then he'll want to say, oh, man, I'm like, dude, that was 2 years ago, man. You ain't got to, you know what I mean? If you ain't want to message back, and then I see you online, you know what I mean? That's the thing about it, man. Like, you can't, well, you can. You can leave a personal scene. That person, if they follow you, they can still see that you're active. So it's like, well, right. I know that I know that I sent you the message and everything. So it is what it is. It's just don't fake the funk, man, when shit's in your favor. Or like I say with my shit, man, it's 5 years in my business here. I got a lot of shit going on that we talk, and there's some things, man, it's better to keep closer to your chest and not
keep that shit
not let it out there, man. So when the shit pops, that's gonna pop, and then I know it's gonna happen. Then all these guys that now they just kind of like, I don't want nothing from this cat. When it comes around, like, nah, dude, like you're one of the people that Mark left me seen, man. So you definitely no.
Well, what's cool with me is, like I said, I'm a little bit established into what I like to do in the scene that I'm in. I just got Falcon Ambassador acceptance, so I was just testing out the new RT660s, and I'm like cool with the guy for the motorsports program, and I don't really ask nobody for nothing. Right. I don't want for shit. So this isn't, a lot of people I've talked to a lot of people that were going to television shows, anticipating doing things, and they just couldn't wait for it to drop so that they could move around. And I understand using your leverage on things like that, For me personally, I don't know. I just like to have fun, man. Yeah. I just like to keep a dope vibe. So maybe if stuff like, as long as the vibe is cool, man, I'm good with it. Because I already answer all DMs, and even like if I, talking about the scene conversation, even if I've opened a DM and looked at it and then didn't respond, because I might have been busy working, parenthood, other things. I'll remember, oh shit, I didn't respond to dude. And it might be like 16 hours later or something, but I will go back and give a response. And it's kind of cool because a lot of people will say, oh shit, you responded, man. Thanks for responding. And I get it because I am that dude and I've been that dude when I try to just ask somebody up there something. And then you get that. I know the feel. And like I said, it's an ego checker. So, you're kind of just like, all right, they ain't got time to respond or, okay, whatever.
Oh, yeah. You don't keep it to your heart.
You do get sometimes because of the mix, like I'm that in-between dude. I'm the mixy dude. So sometimes you do get people from that side come and ask you something. And it's like, and I do understand what you're saying. Be like, didn't you leave me on scene?
Yeah. 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 Then, like we brought up before for the guys, we've done so many podcasts, man, and so many topics that is kind of, you just gotta watch, just put Pinku style Lexis King and just put them on replay. But we mentioned before a couple podcasts ago when the guys who you were and it's virtual shit. My thing with the friend shit, yourself and a few other guys or a few other cats, man, that all call a friend, and we like from a distance, we ain't met yet, but some people most of the time it's like I've shook hands with them, I met them in person and things like that. But the cats who like were on your buddy list or whatever you want to call it, buddy list, friend list, or whatever, who you knew that was on there, and then like you didn't delete them, you didn't remove them, and and then it's like friend requests. I'm like, I thought we were all right, cool. Well, I don't post anything controversial, so only thing you can leave me off of is just seeing success, like my success and my promotion of my parts I'm selling or whatever made you so angry that you like, man, fuck this dude, man.
And on the flip side for me, because I'm such a quiet, regular person, if they've erased or deleted me, my thought process is, I was that insignificant of a person or human to you, and you felt that we didn't have a connection valuable to take up space on your friends list. Right. Because I don't know how many friends you get on Facebook.
I gotta get rid of one person. All right, you go.
I gotta get rid of one guy to put somebody else on, and it's gonna be you.
Fucking sex bot.
That's fine. Don't request me back.
Yeah, dude. That's like nah.
Because like I told you, I find out certain people have removed you because I'd be like, oh, let me go check on so and so, see how he's doing. Yeah. Send him a message, say, what's up, bruv? Like, how's everything? Then it'd be like, you can't respond to this friend, or you can't send him a message until you send him a friend's request. Oh, you bitch ass nigga!
Because the thing about it, man, that shit's like, that ain't like you stumble upon a friend. That shit's like on Facebook. It's like you gotta go to the profile. That's one click. You gotta go to you gotta find a new menu because Facebook moves that shit around every week. So like, where the fuck is the button at? You click on the little 3 bars that drops it down. So that's step 2. Then you go to unfriend. That's step 3. Then it asks you, "Are you sure?" That's step 4. It's like you sure about this, man? Because when you like, then that's 4 steps, man. Like that's brain power to get rid of a dude. But anyway, it is what it is, man. On that stuff, man. We'll get past that. But man, I want to talk about the it came down recently, and it came down recently, so I got a prop here. I got a prop here for the what I'm saying, for the federal tires and shit. So I'm a dealer for federal.
What is that?
That's a federal. That's a 595 RSR Pro. So this is what I run. This is what I run on my my comp cars and everything. For my drift setups, I run these currently in the rear, and I run an RSR on the front. They're the same. They're pretty much the same compound. The RSR is a newer mold, and but it just looks like it has more tread block. Yeah. And this one, it's honestly it's cheaper. It's cheaper to burn. It's cheaper to burn. RSR is
really?
RSR is the newer one. So the RSRR is it's weird. So they got the RSR regular. They got the 595 RSR Pro, which is this one, which is like pretty much the RSR without the tread, different tread and everything. So I run those. But yeah, man, I seen Formula Drift. They had I think they picked up Federal as the 4th tire. So it's
there's some movement going on.
So was it Nexen, GT Radio,
GT Radio, Falcon.
So it's four. So it was Falcon, GT Radio, Nexen, and Federal. So man.
Did Nexen back out? That's why GT Radio acquired.
I don't know, man.
Chris Forsberg, right?
I don't know, man. That might be wrong on that. So
let me look that up. No. You might be right. Let me look it up because I'm not sure. Yeah, because it doesn't make sense unless they had just offered the Supreme Satchel. Unless they gave that man the huge bag.
Hey man, why you finding that though? That again, going back, man. Look how much has transpired since that boy LZ came in the game, man. Look how much has changed.
You see who tire he on though, right?
No, who's he running?
Nitto.
Oh, Nitto. Okay, so it's Nitto. So Nitto, they got to be in the mix of he's running a tire.
Yeah.
So maybe Nitto is the other one, and Nexen is out. I tried to look up right before you got on. I tried to look up the Falcon. Maybe if you go to the website, it'll say. But I tried to go to the website, and it brought up old shit. Like Nexen was on the top, but I don't know that's there, man.
So Nexen is.
It's the official.
They're still showing that they're in the game.
Yeah. Well, somebody getting updated their website, but.
I was just gonna say, let me see if I can find a news source that reported it instead of them.
Well, the reason I found out the guys out there who's Lex finding that of course we had Jonathan Cash on the Cash Hurst on the podcast, whatever, and he posted it. That's how I seen it because Jonathan posted it and he put up Federal, and I was shocked to see that because Federal. I mean, like I say, I put up a post. Yeah. I put up a post. I'm pretty sure you've seen it. And it was a slow burner, but then people start chiming in, and that, it's I know certain people are not going to chime in because they don't want to say the wrong thing and be out in public. For me, I'm a dealer. I can run whatever the fuck I want to run.
Yeah, I saw you.
And I actually edited it a little bit because I put a little bit too much information out there initially. So the initial guy seen it. I'm a dealer, and I honestly I do get a better. If I got a sponsor by those guys and I got a percentage off, I do get a better deal being a dealer, and that's no trick. I mean, that's come on, dude. If you've been in the game,
the way you said it was hilarious, though. I get a better price than sponsored drivers. Dude.
So I took that part out. You know what I mean? I took that part out. But
you did?
Yeah. But at the same time, like people like, dealers get better prices. No shit. Like, what the fuck's the point? Yeah. The purpose of a dealer is for you to make money and make them money. So if you don't know how to deal, you know. And so guys out there who ask me, don't email me and ask me my dealer price because I'm not going to tell you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to pay what I'm going to tell you you're going to pay. It's going to be a little bit cheaper, but yeah, man, that's the part of the game is to make money.
Yeah, so on Formula G's website, series sponsors, we have GT Radio, Falcon, and Nitto as the title joints.
So it's only three?
Well, Federal's in it,
okay.
But as far as like title sponsors, GT Radio, Falcon, and Nitto.
Yeah, so Federal thing was just announced, like I said, about Jonathan. So, and he said that's a Pro 1 deal because he's going Pro 1. Yeah, man. I mean, again, it's Federal is, when I got here in 2008, that was the first tire I drifted on. I never heard of a Federal before when I got here in 08 in Japan. So,
really?
So the Federal 595 SS, which was an earlier mold. They were the go-to tire for like drift because they didn't delaminate. They went all the way down to the belts and they were good. And then Nanking came out, and then other ones came out, and then guys start. Valino was like a kid in the game, to be honest, and that got kind of pushed up. And the reason I put that post, man, because if you guys look at your favorite drifter out there, look whoever it is, look at your favorite drifter, which is almost always Saito, Nakamura, and whoever else. Look how many times those guys changed tires in the last 5 years. And
a ton.
And when it comes down to it, don't fucking matter what tire you give those guys, myself, Lex, we're going to fucking burn that shit. It doesn't matter. It's just who's giving you the most. That's all it comes down to, man.
Yeah.
That's all it comes down to.
Sometimes when people talk about selling out and this and that, my man, you know how hard it is to run a program if you're slightly independent, self-operating? Hey. If somebody's going to give you a consumable like a tire that I'm going to burn through 16 to 32 of them, depending on how powerful the car is, Dog, do you understand how much that bill is?
Yeah.
Let's just say you get the tires for $50. 16 times 50.
Yep.
30 something times 50. Bro, fuel. What if I crash? The bag gotta be good. I'm rocking with like me, I'm independent with everything I do. I want to be part of Falcons, so I run the Falcons like that. Right. But I've got some 595s on the vert.
Yeah. And, dude,
you know what I mean?
Dude, unless they got, and I've gotten a couple of those contracts, and I've actually negotiated, because at the time when I got the contract, I'm like, oh man, like, with my suspension guy, I'm like, at the time that was cool, but then I got other people who like, hey man, I got XYZ suspension, and I actually probably I should have, because it was I think it was Fortune hit me up. Somebody say, hey man, I got a guy at Fortune that he wants to get his stuff over here, and I was like, nah, I'm good. I got these guys or whatever. And I pretty much blew him off, and I was I had some shit going on at the time.
Bumbled the bag.
Yeah, so like I'm like, fuck man, I now I'm thinking about it now about 2 years later, because it was about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck man. So that probably is, and I'm pretty sure they went to somebody else over here, because he did ask me, but the guy was like, saying that I couldn't promote any other coilover, and I'm like, at the time I was like, cool, that's cool. But then I'm thinking about like, dude, their coilover is good, but people want different shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Different whatever, man. And not saying that they're not good. They just partnered with Swift. So now, and I told them this 4 years ago, and they were like, we're cool. And he was like, hey man, it's better to go with Swift, because Swift has every rate you want and color. So it saves us money. So now the reaction, which I push a lot, now they're reaction coilovers, so they handle everything else, and they got their default springs. Now they're partnering with Swift, so now you can order the 12 kilogram, the whatever you call it kilograms in Japan, you guys call it pounds in the States or whatever. But the man, I should have now that was some buffoonery on my end. You live and learn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
don't fumble the bag, man.
Yeah,
when
man.
they offer you the bag, you be like, I got space for this. Give me a second.
Yeah, but saying that to say, man, it's like with the federal deal right here, I'm just a dealer for them. They don't own me. They say, I can. Right. The only thing they say is I can't go below the MSRP, which that's, I can't be selling the tires for fucking, $30 or whatever, and they worth. I can't do that, and I won't make any money anyway because I won't be able to buy this shit. But what I'm saying is if somebody called me after this shit and was like, hey man, we got the Acme tires, I'm like, send me, let me see how they look and everything. Send me a sample.
Yeah.
And if I go test them bitches, and Acme is like, hey man, we'll give you a year supply of it. Guess what? I'm running next week. Acme tires. It's like, you know what I'm saying? And the only way that sucks is if if you get into Formula Drift, now you kind of got to do the deal where they're going to go with the link, ECU. It's like if you're a Haltech guy, fortunately, if you want to play in this game, you got to take the Haltech out, put the link in. And that's where they're going.
Yeah, because Haltech is super established. Link is being very aggressive with their marketing.
Yeah.
If you've been having issues with your shit, but your tuners are familiar with Haltech, and then all of a sudden, like I said, you've been having problems. It's like a girl in a bad relationship. Yeah. She can stick with it. She can stick with it, getting slapped in the mouth all the time, which we don't condone.
Right.
Don't hit your women's. Yeah. But this could be the reality of her situation. One dude comes in and is understanding and is like, hey, I got you. Don't worry about that. Come with us. I'll take care of you. That's what Link's doing. Link's offering you all kind of support, great marketing program, great entry options. And then it's just like, yeah, fuck that Haltech.
Yeah.
Because Haltech's probably like, yeah, you figure it out.
Yeah.
I can only use this old ass Army computer to do. Yeah, I don't care what you do. Somebody got it. You'll figure it out. And then Link's like, hey, just hook it up to Wi-Fi. Yeah. I'll do it for you.
Yeah. Well, also, on a recent, just last week, like that's one thing. I'm a Haltech dealer. That's one thing about, I'll put it real for you guys. I've tuned Link. Link is easy to work with. I like things in Link. I like things in Haltech. But when I did hit up Link, first time hitting them up. It was an issue with a customer Supra. I hit them up because, tuner is a tuner, but a tuner is not supposed to figure out and reverse engineer something that costs $1,500. You know what I'm saying? That's not that's what the post support is for. I hit the dude up, and the guy was like fucking condescending, all this other shit, and
really?
he was whoever I spoke to. His name is irrelevant. I hope he doesn't work there anymore, but he probably does. But the guy was very condescending, talking down, and I could tell. You know, the thing about it, they need to kind of filter, because if you're not a tuner, then I think you shouldn't be able to hit them up direct like that. Like, if you're a consumer, then like you should be. They shouldn't really be. You know what I mean? Heltech does it, and that's why they got a good name. But they really should kind of filter like the consumer questions and the tuner questions, because we're tuning. We got legit questions. But a consumer, they're not there. They got the back, or you got a Hellcat or something over there.
Nah, some bozo in a damn blazer. Yeah. That's all looking at my cameras like, what is that?
Well, yeah, dude. Anyway, man, it's like I had that left me with a bad taste in my mouth. And for me, I can't have a consumer spend 15 or whatever, and me tell them it's good, and then they be like, "Hey, man, where's the support?" Heltech from day one, man. On my from my personal experience, maybe it was a bad day for that guy or a bad week, because it was multiple conversations over a week. Heltech, dude, every time I hit him up, just last week I had a situation with part of their architecture, and they sent me a brand new firmware and everything. Like, it's always been up and up. So I know the customer support is not it. It's just probably Heltech. They didn't want to. Maybe the numbers didn't match up. Maybe honestly, Heltech is good to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I think that's really all that it is. A lot of the times, it's just like, this guy says, "Yeah, I'm good to go. I'll throw in what I've been throwing in." This guy says, "Hey, I'll throw in this and whatever if you rock with us." And then that's sometimes the ball changes hands. Yeah,
that's all it came down to, man. It's the offers, and then Link kind of was more. You know, Link is on more people's cars already. The little guy, and the Link was already kind of
that little trendy. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Their marketing is like
it just kind of
pretty good.
Kind of, you know, it kind of always was in there. Then then of course, you know, speaking on LZ, of course, he was pumping ECU Masters a bunch.
I was gonna say ECU Masters is his thing.
Yeah, so like, but now you gotta pull it out. You know what I'm saying?
Like that Link in there.
You gotta pull it out. So now he's probably gonna lose a little bit of cash on the and maybe he has to adjust. It's weird, man, because
somebody's gonna make it up though.
Yeah, this is the shit, man, that people, they want this shit, and then when it comes, it's like, fuck, man, I don't want this. And this is, you gotta be this the F1 NASCAR shit guys out there, man. If you want to do this on this level, it's gonna be compromised. You're gonna lose maybe a private sponsorship, because they don't want you pushing this shit and then like having their shit on the side like that. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes down to the tire stuff too, like, you can be sponsored by whatever the fuck, and then like you got to run a series tire, but then they're gonna be jealous because you know what I mean, there's stickers down on your car and stuff like that, man. So it's gonna create ripples, and I guarantee you we're gonna prophesize that, and then when the season starts, the drama's gonna unfold, man.
Man, dude, LZ's car, I don't know if that's gonna be the tire stays on.
Yeah.
But a 315 on his car.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of tire. Yeah. I think that's what Vaughn runs. I think that's why he's, you know, it's under Vaughn's tutelage, is what it's seeming like, and his relationship. So that's a lot of tire, and that's gonna be a whole lot of car, man.
That's a lot of tire, man. That's a lot of grip. That's a lot of drive shafts and axles, or whatever Ford is doing to keep that together, man. Because man, put a 245 with some stock, you know, 6-bolt axles, man, from a 240, man. Like, that shit, give it one event, that shit's gonna snap, man. Like, the grip is insane, and like, you know, the diff is probably not gonna break, but the axles and the drive shaft are like the next weak point, and then your transmission. You know what I mean?
Dude, so, think about just looking at the car, dead back, dead rear, looking straight forward.
Yeah.
It's gonna have like this much tire and a little dip in the middle. It's gonna be crazy.
It's looking like those look like you're at the goddamn the drag strip, man. Those big ass.
Yeah, man.
It's crazy, man. You know, it's. I mean, honestly, for me, the biggest tire personally, I think the biggest tire I've slid was like a 255. That's the biggest tire. It happened to be on a pair of wheels I bought, and I just burnt them off. but I had no reason to have a 255 and whatever I was doing over here at the time. I mean, now when I step it back up to Formula Drift or whatever, I'm pretty sure I'm at to go with a 2 because you need more. You know, you're not gonna get to that podium with 215s, man. I mean,
no, sir. I think Taka, the last 8.6 in Formula D, went out on 265s.
Yeah, so that's an 8.6. Yeah, so that's
an 8.6.
I don't care what stretch technology you got. Like, I can stretch these 215s to a 225. Like, number one, that's illegal. Number two, that's gonna fail tech. And so I mean, shit, man. 250. Man, fuck. You got. I mean, honestly, you got to run what you got to run whatever size
what they're providing. And that's what I was gonna mention when you were talking about the tire thing. Yeah, Wan Li, Ling Long, Triangle, all of them, they can offer you a tire if they're offering you.
Works, man.
You know what I mean?
That's how it works. And that's why. And all right, so the people out there because think, I've been to a lot of guys, Valino, and all these other guys. And again, this is if you watch and you're a Valino rep or whatever, this is why it is. I talked to Valino before the shit blew the fuck up. Before Nakamura started running it, because Nakamura went through 5 or 6 different tire companies in like the span of like 8 months. Mm-hmm. He's gonna run whoever the fuck gives him that tire to go out there and get on that track. He don't give a fuck. So he gonna run whatever. You could give him a hat, a lanyard, and whatever. And he's gonna run that shit. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, man, like I hit up Valino before all these cats were on him, right? And I was like, hey man. I seen you guys are new. I would like to test the tire. I gave my credentials or whatever. And he's like, and then they hit me back, and I knew this was gonna go wrong. He was like, well, Daigo is running. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Daigo, we don't sleep together. You know what I'm saying? That's great. They try to justify me not needing a sample set by saying Daigo runs it, Nakamura's running it, whatever. I'm like, that's cool. That's Daigo Nakamura. Different stratosphere.
They tried to throw their cloud around.
So I'm like, dude, like send me. I'll pay for the shipping. I just want fucking 4 tires, and then we can do whatever from there. And I'm like, dude, I got the American guys, whatever, blah blah blah. I said what I gotta say, and he's like, all right, we're good. Daigo's good. We can give you this percentage off. I'm like, all right, cool, thanks. And that was it. That was the last time I talked to him. Like, because obviously, I mean, whatever I'm doing here, being the only American in Japan with a performance shop, ain't enough for you. So whatever, dude. And I just kind of left it at that, and I could pull up my email, and that could be the last conversation there. And it just kind of, like, I mean, I'm not trying to, after this shit's popping off and everybody's doing it, I don't want to fucking get on the bandwagon now. Like, nah, dude. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. The reason I rock with Federal right here is simply because they're the only it's Japanese-based tire company that gave me the dealership contract. Everybody else, I talked to Toyo. I talked to Bridgestone. I talked to Nanking. All those guys. Nah, we good. We got Taniguchi. We got Arito. We got Tsuchiya. Who the fuck are you? You know what I mean? So
they said we got the king.
So the only reason it's tires here is because I use it for a lot. I use it for a bunch of my personal time. So I bought. I'm like, dude, before I even fucking
go see if you can answer me this. What's the myth? What was the myth about reversing the tread pattern? On the old school 595s, it's just true. The old molds, if you reverse them, you would get more grip because it's like the fucking. Remember how the 595s had all the little slots in it? So if you ran them normal, they would kind of the slots would kind of go. They would go in like this. They would go like they would curve over so they get smooth. If you turn them around, it almost looked like fucking the fuck's those shits where the dudes go on the sand dunes. And they they look like mud paddlers.
It almost looks like that, and it would make the ride hard. But at the same with that particular old molds, it's not so much. No, you don't do it now. Mm-hmm. But the old molds, it would turn the fucking ripples outside, so it looked like fins. And I mean, that shit would grip it would grip the track for a little bit, but then it would lose lateral traction. So I did it. It did work, but. Nah, you don't have to do that no more. They fixed it. They fixed what the issue was. So those 595s that were running around when I first got here are not the same 595s. So when guys even knock those, it's not the same mold, man. They're pretty much all the same tire with a different tread pattern, man. That's it. So the shit's totally different now. I know guys when Jonathan was getting a lot of hate on it, and people were like, oh, they sucked. And I guess there was a bad batch, and this can be from fucking tires sitting in a container 2 months too long, man. That could fuck shit up. So, and that's a whole batch. That's shit. How many tires you can fit in a 20-foot container or 40-foot?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of dudes getting bad batches of tires, and that shit sucks. But it is what it is, man.
Yeah, dude. I got those Falcons, the 660s.
Yeah. So how was those?
Dude, really good, man. I wasn't. I don't know. I wasn't trying to expect too much.
Right.
I know what I've been told from some of the Falcon drivers I've talked to that have used them in both drift and grip. I know what I was hearing from the reps and the managers when the tire was first coming out and they first did their full tests. So yesterday, I hit them up and I'm like, dog, did you guys make a race tire with tread pattern? Because, dude, when I tell you,
I gotta get some.
This car was acting out of pocket. It was acting unusual. It was like, what? I can do this? Yeah. And so it's like the 615K Plus are like really good. They were pretty good. But there were some shortcomings in, and I don't like to drift on those kind of tires in the rain, so I can't give a experience on those in the rain. I can one time. I spun out like crazy, but I was first learning how to drive, especially in the rain. But cold track, just speaking cold track on grip 615s, it probably took 75% of full Sonoma Raceway. Right at the end, when you're going into the braking zone and you're about to run out of turn 11 and back up the front straight, you kind of was ready to go.
Gotcha.
Dude, these 660s, by the time I went out of the pit, and this is brand new with the shipping foam or residue on them and everything. By the time I came out of the pit, up the hill, maybe about 2 brake zones, they were just about ready to go. Like, I felt like, I'm about to send right now, and they didn't stop. Like, it only got oversteery one time, and that was my second session in. I didn't even check tire pressures. Told the dude set him at 36 or 32, and then by the time I even thought to check them after the second session, they had gone up to 40. And I was only experiencing that in the rear end, and that's the ones that went up to 40. So I was like, okay, all right, that was good, just to see, like, non-touched, just go do it. And, dude, really good. I was having fun now carrying so much speed, and they have enough grip. I've never experienced this either. I've gone over rumble strips and got a little whoop, boom, boom. I was carrying so much speed. I go over rumble strips. It was going woo, boom, boom, boom. And that feels crazy in the car. I've never carried that much speed through a corner. And when I'm going over that, it didn't feel like it was going to keep going. It just felt like, dude, this is holding hella grip. It was just like, ooh, I stayed floored, and you'll hear a wheel spinning up lightly, and the car is just holding up on 2 wheels, probably got about 2 inches of gap with the wheels that are off the ground. It was a good thing, but it stressed my brakes. So now it showed a part that I needed to check anyway, because I only got like 2-3 millimeters of pad. I was going so much faster and using brakes less. When I went into a place that I had to brake hard, I was moving, dude, and it was just like, vroom, and I was like, these brakes, I could hear them. I'm like, yeah, I might need some brakes now, but really good tire. And at speed, I was being really, really obnoxious, and I went over the crest going into turn 6, so I clear the crest, and I head down the hill. Dude, I went full throttle, brake full throttle. Man, that fucking car said, yeah, right, I'm still a fucking car, and this is still physics. That bitch drift all the way down turn 6. I thought I was going to spin, right? So I thought I was going to spin because of how aggressively it just rotated. I was like, oh, shit. And I went,
drift mode.
Yeet. Yeah, I was like, yeet. And the fronts gripped so hard, the car felt like a pendulum. You felt the this movement, and I said, "Oh, I don't want to overcorrect and then go off the other way." So then I steered back in, and I'm floored the whole time. I stayed floored. I never lifted.
Yeah.
I steered back in, and the car just was like, "Meep." It caught grip on the heavy load, and I thought I was safe. This was the scary one. Because of the load, it caught grip, but then it broke sideways again, and I was out of track. So I was like, dude, like 4 or 5 feet from the rumble strip, car sideways again. I'm just like staying in it, man. And it just, it started making my camera out the back. You can see it started making smoke. Now, and I just passed the GT3 RS. And he's probably looking like, look at this dumbass in this Mazda. Yeah. But I was handling
he's like,
it.
He gonna, motherfucker go past the dude, he's like hopping and shit and fucking.
Yeah.
He's like, but hey man, when that shit right there, man, because we talked about it offline in the messenger, man. Like, dude, those cars, man, out there compared to the RX-8.
Yeah,
some of those cars you're lapping in different. Is this a different group? Group A, Group B, it's a Group
C.
But the thing about it, man, is like those guys afford those cars, but it doesn't. Like we talked about before, that shit don't bring skills, and like that shit, man, like that right there. You know what I mean? Number one, it proves that the machine is one thing, driver is one thing.
I'm gonna send you the video too, so you can see it while we're talking.
Yeah. Machine is one thing, man. Driver is one thing, but the it gotta be together, man. So
it does.
And a lot of guys, man, out there when they get on the track, man, they're not willing to risk that car because they, you know what I mean,
right?
Hey, man, it's 120K, 150K, whatever, and they're more and some guy defends because I'm not one of those dudes that'll be like, man, I was lapping everybody and shit, but it's like. Your skill level and intentions are totally different. I'm watching it right now, but I'll mix it into the video too when we do the which con. I'm like,
and that's what I was trying to give the guy bail with the Cayman GT4, because that was a scary moment because of what I saw his intentions were and how fast I was going. It looks kind of funny. You see the little light skid marks.
Yeah.
So, I tried to give the guy bail because the group that I was driving in, it was not, you didn't have to point by. We were operating under race conditions. So everybody on the track is of the understanding that fools are mobbing. If you're not going fast, know your role.
Yeah, I seen about people yelled into to the right. They were getting to most of the time.
Yeah, dude, it was like people were just, I'm here.
Yeah.
Because track days are a social thing. You go with your friends. If your friend's in a different group, you don't want to be the dude in the perceived slow group. But motorsports is a very straight, direct thing.
Yeah.
If you keep it real with yourself, be honest with yourself.
Yeah, because people
don't bullshit yourself. Because once you get out there, this is the real deal.
Yeah.
If you're an amateur boxer, you do not feel the need to go get in the ring with the realest of the real motherfuckers out there.
It's going to show.
It shows instantly. Yeah. It doesn't matter how much of a trumped up shiny dick you're in. If you aren't the link that makes that go fast, and everybody around you know it goes fast. We can see that. You may not think that we can see it. So
your video made it very obvious, man. Like Mustang, new Porsche. I'm like, holy fuck. All right, say what, 2000? What year is that car, man?
Yeah, it's an 06.
It's like Mustang. You just eating all these motherfuckers like 150K, 250K. Like it's just like.
Oh, the dollar amount.
It's like, hey man, I mean, I know it ain't that type of party, man, but that would be funny as fuck. If you put like a little like a PSN name.
Oh, do a video when you go by.
Yeah. Because dude, I'm gonna do that shit when I put the cappuccino out there because that's gonna happen. Because when I entered all right. So last time I went to Tsukuba, which is my only time.
Yeah.
I entered the pro class. The guy put me in there based on my D1 license because he figured, all right, D whatever, right? And I told him I do grip. So when I got there, after I did the first lap, I came back. I told you the story, man. I locked eyes with him. And I was going to say before we kind of at the same time I was like pointing down, put me in the group down because driving skill. If I had the cars, I can hang with them, but the Subaru was just not It was not. It was a bone stock EJ20 with a Helltech, and it was just getting like I was a what is it? You're a fucking liability. So
yeah. And that's being real with yourself. You were being real with yourself.
So I was getting flagged and shit because you know I was Lotus Elises and all types of shit out there.
Flying.
And they're flying and the dudes up on me and I'm getting this. I'm like, nah, dude, you ain't fucking better than me. But so I'm gonna go down, and then when I went down in that same car, I was now lapping everybody. So it was
and that's exactly how it happens.
And that's only one level down.
Yep, because with me, the driving group that I'm in, the reason I've placed myself there is because they're segmented of required lap times to be in those groups. Right. Now everybody there, the last track day, come up to this group, go up to this group, that's the top tier. Yeah. There is a 151 lap time requirement.
Right.
I don't do 151s. I don't know if I can do 151s. Maybe I could if I'm driving around the track and I'm getting, you're following somebody and you get in the rhythm.
Right.
Cool, but I know I can't go out there and just wide open space do it on my own. The requirement for the 2 minute lap time.
And to correct, like what you're saying, like when the guys who don't know, you mentioned with that car, with the RX-8, because you can definitely do it.
Yeah, if I get in something else, dog, like I was saying in the video, I'm like, cuz if I go out there in this RX-7, if I go out there in anything with 200 horsepower, 300 horsepower, Jesus Christ, somebody gonna be in trouble because that RX-8 only has 180 horsepower.
Yeah. That shit was moving, it's literally just
a go-kart. So the 2 minute requirement field, you see how I'm doing the 2 minute requirement field. Right. It's just like because it's just like I'm flying.
Yeah.
But if I popped up into the other group, if I got towed with somebody, cool. But I would be a back marker of the 151s, and I don't do 151s. I do 154s, 153s. So, and that's like me really pushing, dog. I had us scared. I was chasing down a Grand Sport with hella aero, a C7 Corvette. And for those that don't know, essentially a Grand Sport is a Z06 with no supercharger. Has the brake, suspension, aero, wide body, and everything, but it doesn't have a supercharger, which is ideal, like your perfect track car. So he's got splitters and diffusers and wings and canards, and he has all of this aero and wheels and racing tires and shit. So that guy, for me, that was my locked-in focus for the day. Because I went there to set lap times to be the fastest RX-8 around Sonoma Raceway, which guys might have to tune into the vlog and see if I made it. But I started, forget the lap times, I'm chasing this damn vet, and that was my goal, man. And it was crazy. I think if I jumped into a group with that guy, like say my homeboy that runs it, he drives like really good. If he jumped in that vet would clearly probably do like 140 something. Yep. But because it's track days are just random guys in cool cars, so at that point in time, it was a very good challenge for me. The vet clearly outclasses me in power, but in certain places where he wasn't pushing it, I'm like flat out. What?
Hey man, one thing I was thinking about when you telling that story, man, is like if fire was all cool and mutual, right? And then like somewhere in where was the event? It was in Cali, right?
Yeah.
Right, so somewhere in Cali, man, on that night of that video, there was some dude at dinner and shit. I'm eating hamburger helper, and he got a fucking 200K carb. He's eating hamburger helper because he's a cool guy, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the family in there talking and shit, and the kids over there making noise and shit, and the wife's asking him, "Hey, how was your day?" And the dude's just like this and shit, eating his hamburger helper. Then he just slams the fucking like, "I got passed for a fucking RX-8. Shut the fuck up!" Like it's like, dude, somewhere, some dude in Cali, man, was fucking sulking because he got fucking passed by RX-8, dude.
That green Mustang, I flew past him every single time I went out on the track.
Yeah.
And then the last event, same thing, I flew past him every time I went on the track. So he finally walked over yesterday, and he said, "Hey man, I hope I don't be holding you up out there."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Nah." I'm like, "Well, what car do you drive?" He's like, "Oh, the green Mustang." I was like, "Okay, the green 197." He's like, "Yeah." I said, "Nah, man, you're good." I said, "You hold your line, and I didn't mean it like that. Like you hold your line, I fly right by.
Yeah.
I was meaning it as you're fine doing your thing. You know enough to be aware because he's very aware.
I've seen him getting over. I've seen him getting out of the
he'll get right over,
yeah.
And he knows it's just like this motherfucker's flying. Like if he's going in a couple corners, because like the dude with the vet said, dude, I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, damn, this Mazda's on me, right? And the dude with the Mustang, he said he sees me coming. He'll try to push. If he can't, he just gets out the way. Well, it turns out that's a 590 horsepower supercharged Mustang.
You could tell it on a straightaway because I'm like, I know it's about 180, 190 for the RX-7. Plus, that car's a lot lighter for the guys who don't know.
2,700 pounds.
Check out the video of him picking it up and everything. But yeah, man, you could just clearly see. Like, like if he wanted to throttle down, it could be a drag race.
Yeah. If he didn't want to give it up, if he wasn't being real with himself, he could be like.
And then what happens? That bitch winds up, and then you get the and then like you're into the wall. But hey, man, like that shit right there, either to some guys it don't matter because they know their level. It's like it's the types of guys out there. Is the guys there is in denial, like, nah, man, he gotta have nitrous in that shit or something. Then there's the dudes out there that just like, you know what I mean? They just don't want to. They don't. It's different, man. Different guys, different people, different purposes out there. But then the guys out there who, like I said, the guy who's eating hamburger helper and mad at his kids and shit.
Mad he got a punk ass Mazda. That
was the guy who the night before was like, I'm gonna go out there and fuck shit up, and I'm
gonna smoke everybody, honey. Watch.
Okay, cool, dude. Like,
and it was funny because I told dude, I said, oh yeah, I don't mind close quarters coming around people or driving. I was like, because I kind of do that more than I do grip. I'm a drifter, right? He said, oh, I can tell. And it was funny because I was making the vlog and I was looking through footage at the reverse camera, and he said this yesterday at the track. And when I go past people, I just look over, make sure I got past them, and then I take position on the track, and that's the last I look back, right? So I'm looking at this rear-facing camera, and I remembered him saying, oh, yeah, I can tell you're a drifter, because I came around him, we went into a braking zone, and when I stood on it, and the car got sideways, and I just stayed in it.
Yeah.
He's sitting there, front row, just seeing this little RXA, like, the length of the whole corner. He said, yeah, your car, you like your car loose? I was like, no, I'm just a little heavier on the pedal than I should be because this car doesn't have any power.
Bro.
So it's like I'm trying to get in it quick and, build the RPM, and the little bit of wheel spin helps the RPM sit in a good spot so when it catches grip, instead of it's like, and so he was like, oh yeah, I can tell it. Yeah. And he was front and center for a fucking spin class, man.
Dude, that I think that we're like one and the same, man, because it's like we both enjoy drifting, we're good at it. We both enjoy gripping, we're good at it as well.
Yeah.
It's like because some guys will just be so far left or so far right, whichever one you want to be, that they don't realize, like, bro, if you master both, when I'm at Tsukuba and the car steps out, I'm like, all right, stay with it, and then continue on.
Yeah.
It's smooth, and then the judges came to me and he was like, no drifting, but cool driving, and I was like, the flag waiver guy,
right?
Because it was smooth. It wasn't like when a dude, you're not supposed to drift and you're not, and then you're like, oh fuck, and you try to get it back. It was a smooth. It went out, stepped out. You just throttle in, and then you almost zero counter, and then you fucking continue on to the next apex.
Yeah.
And some guys,
like, there's guys that are so far grip, they're like, drift is stupid.
As soon as that bitch goes sideways, they're like, oh fuck.
And then they're spinning or they're letting off and coming to a stop. And like what I was telling people when I was doing the drift instruction, I wanted the racers, like, come here. Let me show you something, because I come from that world and I came to drift.
Right.
I fully understand drift. I never left grip, but I love drifting. Yeah. And so they don't understand it until I show them. And during instruction, I show them, this is where this helps you in this instance, gripping. Doing this, and so you kind of give them the idea of where it helps them at. And so then you have the drifters, it's like, F grip, they uptight, this and that. So I get to be that person that sits in the middle, and that's why I always show videos. That's why I always do videos. That's why I rarely post track day pictures, because I want drifting drifting is already a natural rock star vibe. It's like motocross. It's like, you know, freestyle motocross, right?
Yeah.
Grip is more of the excuse me, sir, you know, distinguished gentleman shit. But like you look at like touring car, or like especially Australian touring cars, those motherfuckers are wild.
Oh, yeah, jumping.
There is a rock star element of that, but you only see it in those extreme cases. But drifting is an extreme case in itself. So there's two far sides of rock stars, but more popular of the gentleman type racing. And I like to show like, hey, dude, with these normal cars, if you just like to really drive fast, because, you know, there's a shelf life to driving like that, right? You know, there's a shelf life to driving time attack style for 11 laps.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like the conservative dude will conserve his pace and drive a really quick pace and maybe cool down in a quick pace. A time attack dude is like, let me go really hard. Real quick. And then 2-3 laps, I'm done.
Yeah.
And I was doing that shit for 11 laps straight. And it was like, it's hard on equipment, but when it gets out of hand, let me control this shit like a beast and keep it lit, you know? And I think that's, to me, it's dope to turn fast laps. But when you turn fast laps for hella long, it's like an endurance race, man. When I hop out that, I'm like, whoa, where's a banana in the water, baby? I need to replenish
dehydrated
myself.
And shit, man. Like that's kind
of man.
Actually, I'm pretty sure it probably happened to you before. It happened to me twice, and now I know what it is. And my track, the transponder has to be up and down, has to be vertical up and down. So I fucking put that bitch What happened? I put it what I do? I put it sideways. So like from I did well, reason I know I did because I was following guys. I did like 100 some laps. Nothing was counted. No times, no nothing. So I got in this one battle with this one guy and I was on his ass and then I eventually passed him up and he was doing like 51 49 seconds. So I knew where I was because I was right behind him. So it was like 49 point whatever the fuck or whatever. And I really wasn't there for that. It's just I was there to test out I had the S13, the V8, which I'm selling. And so one, you know, it was S13. So they were already like, what the fuck's this guy here? Because the S13s only drift. So they were like, it was a BRZ, it was a Evo, it was a S2000, some other stuff. And then I'm lapping them. And then they came back and it was like, you drift, right? I'm like, yeah. He was like, how grip? I said, you can do both. And they're like, oh, Sugoi, like it just blew their mind. And then what happens at almost every event I do at MSP, it turns into a fucking power slide session because I'm still it's a grip event, so I don't want to go out there and totally. But I'm like, man, these dudes they're boring me, you know, because they stand back or or I'm right behind them and I'll go in fucking no braking sideways. I'm right behind them and then I'll straighten out back into a grip line. So what I want to kind of do for that is actually make a grip drift event because I've never seen that at MSP. Make an event where you grip and you drift at corners.
Bro, I've been trying to push that for so long here because I'm a huge fan. I think I watch it every time because I can't find any new ones. I watch the drift grip race a ton.
Best motoring joint?
That is, I feel like, what's up?
It was the best motoring joint, but Hot Version did it.
Yep. That's what I want this RX-7 to do. Dog. If somebody sets that up,
I'm gonna do it.
I put this on God. I put this on me. I'm destroying fools. Yeah. Bro, a drift grip race.
I know you do it. I'll send you the video. Actually, I'll probably mix it in there if I get a chance. The MR2. There was, like I said, MR2. I did it. Never drove the MRS. Never driven the MRS ever in my life before this event. So the first lap, I was like, I didn't spin it all until I start fucking around, and it was after everybody was off the track. But after I got used to the MR cars, it was a smaller wheelbase, there's engines in the back and all that stuff the guys doing the MRS, MR2 is. And after I start lapping the guys with a bone stock 1ZZ, they all came off the track because again, Japanese got this thing where they don't want to be shown up by a foreigner, so they'll just get off the track.
Oh, really?
So I'm like, fuck it, man, I paid. So I did 150 laps.
I'm out here, bitch.
I did 150 fucking laps, and this bone stock, so the cooling is good. You ain't nothing fuck with, so it's all normal. And then I got to this point where I'm like, all right, nobody's out here, so I start hitting the rumble strip, using that to upset the suspension, come out of that, power slide. Then I would go from a power slide right into the grip, and then it'll be seamless because I was showing them like, dude, these apexes are the same apexes. We just one is straight and one is sideways, and you're like, holy fuck, how do you come out of the drift?
You just attack it earlier and different, or later and tighter.
That's it. So I want to do that. I hope you can arrange it when you're in. I want to do it on my end and get that event going.
I've been trying to do it with Animal Style when they throw their events, because their events usually have such a good amount of freedom that we could be like, all right, everybody chill real quick. Yeah. Let's line 11 cars up, 12 cars up, grip right here, drift right here.
You can have it lined up.
Work.
Like grip is blue and then drift sections is red.
Yeah, or just this portion of track when you get back here. Drift that segment.
Well, you should know
all the rest.
Should be natural.
Drift.
Yeah, it should drift. It's a corner. Okay, go in. But then you'll have some guys that won't understand. They'll
drifting the whole shit.
No, they'll load up that bitch like manji. Like nah, you don't manji. You kind of you kind of if there's a straight and a 90-degree right hander, you go into it. You just you kind of stir into it. Zero counter. You drift through that corner, straighten back up, and you continue on to the next apex. So we understand.
Starts, I'm in there.
Dude, it would be funny shit, dude, because it's like it's a skill that both of us, I know, talking about it, that we have, and I know other people out there have it. Like, again, you look at a guy like Arito Taniguchi; those two guys they have it because they're at the highest of the highest in GTH 500, and they're D1 GP drivers.
GT5, GT3, time attack. And drift.
It's in there, but some drifters suck at grip, and some grip drivers suck at drifting. So those guys.
Some dude randomly asked me in the DMs yesterday, "Who do you look up to?" And it was hella off topic from the question I had asked. You can ask a little question on IG in your stories. I'm talking about, hey, what do y'all think would be a realistic time that I could hit? This motherfucker asking me, "Who do you look up to?" I'm like, well, since you asked, Taniguchi.
Yeah, it's smooth.
Not everybody. Yeah, not everybody is really worthy to be looked up to. Everybody's worthy to be respected. But for me, I look up to God-tier drivers. Right. They don't have to be the best at everything, but God-tier, meaning when I put my hands on this, I'm very fast in it. Yeah. When I put my hands on this, I can slide it. I can control it. And that's what Arito, that's what they do. Those are my two favorite drivers, man. And it's just like, and not only are they like charismatic, cool people, they're very good grippers on high level, and they're very good drifters on high level.
And they came up from, like, if you look at the old video with the one they make fun of Taniguchi when he had the eyebrows, his eyebrows was like this, and but from my understanding, like this was at Ibisu when they had the first, like when they were doing like the D1 GP search at that time, like everybody was unknown. And he had the Hachiroku, like almost all of them had the Hachirokus. So I don't think, I could be wrong. There's some Taniguchi alcoholic or like whatever you want to call it shit. But I don't think he was in a grip before drift. I think drift segued him to getting a seat in a grip car. And he was like, all right, man, see all you could do in this. You look fast. And then bam. So the dude's this, he wasn't winning, championships on both sides, but he held his own. He was respected.
He grew into it, yeah.
And the thing about it, like, he's one of those guys. And I know you had the story about you don't like driving people's shit, but at the same time, when people like be like, hey man, when people like give you the keys to their car, man, their fucking pride and joy, and like, hey man, take it around. That's a level of trust that they know you on your game, and nobody,
big respect.
Nobody ain't gonna give out their fucking keys like that. Taniguchi, Tsuchiya, and a whole bunch of other guys, Petra Solberg, fucking Lewis Hamilton, they rock up at any event with no car and they can get a lap in.
Somebody gonna be like, sir, please.
Yeah, because number one, they're gonna clout chase. for the most part. I had Lewis Hamilton drive my car to reverse face the camera. Like, I want to see the fucking track, not Lewis Hamilton face while he's driving your Mustang. You know what I'm saying? So, but and another fact is like, dude.
We think the same. Yeah. I would want to see Lewis driving the track so I could see where he's using my car's attributes at, and I'm not.
Yeah.
Somebody would want the camera in there. Oh, look, Lewis, that's my car, that's my seat.
No,
dude. Looking at him.
Yeah, because you want to see how he's. That shit says.
I want to see how he's driving.
It's like 300, 200, 100. You braking at 250. That motherfucker braking at 90.
And he's braking on hard, back on the gas. Instead of just like this app for what I was doing yesterday, and I showed people like I bettered my best lap time by 2 seconds real quick. Second lap in, first session, cold track, 8 a.m. But I told people, I said, you guys might not see what I'm seeing, and you're thinking, oh, good job, 2 seconds. No, I'm way more thirsty in talent than that myself. I said, look at that, and it shows I had over 11 seconds of coast time, off throttle, not on brake, because I was behind lap traffic.
Yeah.
So I bested my best lap by 2 seconds, fresh out the box, coasting a lot because there was lap traffic and me waiting for people. Dude, when I got to, I'm wide open and blasting and I'm on throttle quick, and dude, lap time was like ding 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 ding.
Yeah.
And it dropped from 11 seconds of coast time to 8 to 6 seconds of coast time. And then you start thinking about like, damn, would I be able to get to like 2 seconds of coast time?
Yeah.
Because it's like, that just means you're like on throttle or on brake. You are doing one of the two things, which would be utilizing and it's funny, the app has a confidence score. I'm like, oh, now this is turning into a fucking video game.
Because that shit, and you mentioned confidence, and like you mentioned that, it's like, man, you can't fool yourself, because you can say whatever the fuck you want to say to people. Like, but it's like, you know where you lift off at. You know where you didn't brake late, or when you did try, you got wobbly, like, fuck that, you back off. So I bring up Tsukuba again because I'm going to hit it up soon with a Subaru. That Subaru, all right, so to break down the Subaru for the guys who don't know, I built that car in like 2.5 weeks, chopped it, so I mean, it got a lightweight. But one thing about the Subaru, I deleted the ABS and I never fixed the brake bias, so pretty much, and I had no ABS. I did not lock my brakes one time. I did not lock up one time because I know how to. I don't use ABS. I mean, it's there.
Right.
You use it, but I never use it so long that I'm not relying upon it. And they told me that the marshals like, hey man, make sure you don't do this. Never went off track. Never locked my brakes. Never caused any things like that. And but the thing about it, because I knew the brake bias was fucked, I didn't push as I pushed hard, but I kind of left a little buffer because I knew the brake bias wasn't there. And you go come around the the first corner, you go on the S's, you go into the Dunlop sign at Scuba.
Yep.
I bitched out right there a little bit because
rolled out.
Yeah, well I normally in the game you fucking stay flat out. You stay flat out, you maybe go up, you shift down for a second and blip back up. I didn't go hard right there because the sudden weight disruption. And also, in the game, how many times in the game have you fucked up right there in that part of the track going into that hairpin and you fucking put too much tire off and it hits? I was thinking about the game on the track in the real world. I'm like, fuck, if I hit the tire, if I go off right here, when you're drifting always fucks me right there when you come around, you put a tire off and you fuck up. So anyway, I didn't want to mess up right there because that part right there, braking and that'll set you up for that the final straight. So I was real careful there, but I'm looking to go back again with a proper braking car, and I want to fly through that motherfucker because I know I lost 2 seconds there. I know for sure. I lost 2, maybe 3 seconds there, man. Because I'm like,
you'll find time and places. Yeah, you can not shift.
Yeah.
But not lift,
and
find time and places. You can shift very early just to stay flat out, and you feel like, damn, I could have been in third, but nah.
Well, it's better.
You just had more throttle on.
We talked about before. It was better to take a few throttle bump, a few limiter bumps, and keeping it second versus going up to third and then like going back down to second, you're making more. One thing I was told about who's this Team Orange, the Team Orange Satchel, man, fucking Kumakubo. Kumakubo was like when he did the thing, he was like, hey man, you guys, I see when you're shifting up in between the transition coming around, a lot of you guys are fucking up because you're mis-shifting or you're thinking about the shift and not the drift. He was like, you need to get your shit so you're in third gear. That way you're fucking in gear and all you got to think about is drifting. Because if you're thinking about shifting while drifting, your mind is like your mind is fucking as a processor, man. So like.
Yeah, because you'll be sitting there, you'll be like.
Yeah. So I go.
Oh shit! Fuck the whole thing up.
Everybody out there knows when your transmission is fucked a little bit, or your bushing is not, and you're like, man, if I shift up, I could possibly put this bitch in first or put it in fourth. It's like if it goes in first, I'm fucked. If it goes in fourth, I'm fucked. So it's like, and then it goes in the third. You're like, oh yeah. Then it's like, man, but the fact that you're thinking about that, you're thinking about that about a second before you put it in the third gear. And that's why you got to make sure your gearing is good. It should be first, second, third, and the torque band, and then fourth if you need it, and then you back down to second or whatever. This MSP I'm talking about in my head. But man, it's that shit, man. It's so much stuff with that stuff, man, and everything. And it's just this, what we're talking about. A lot of people, they probably like, I don't want to talk about nobody with that shit because I don't want to seem like a bitch or whatever.
Nah, be real. A lot of dudes that are new to drifting that came and they really start killing it. They're the dudes that they don't have too much of an ego to ask questions. Am I doing something wrong? Can you give me an idea of something I can do better, even if I'm doing okay? And they're the type of people to say, yeah, I wasn't killing it when they said I was killing it.
Yeah.
I want to do better.
Yeah.
When you're very self-reflecting and you're like
type of guy.
When you're just like, I accept if I wasn't the best out there. I'm gonna do better. And they always have the I want to do better, not I want to do better to motherfucker, I'm better than you. Yeah. Look at me. Oh, they're gonna get all the sick pictures of me. No, it's I want to feel good about what I'm doing and be very happy with it. So I'm going to operate in a certain way so that I can get the most out of what I'm doing. Yeah. And then if there's somebody around that I value their opinion, hey, what did you think about that run? Can you give me an idea of maybe what I might want to change if I was to do it a little bit better? And that's something that, I learned doing the Formula D thing. If you're honest about it, we all think of these pro drivers as like, oh, they're the best in the world. They don't need nobody. They fucking kill it. They rely on a spotter, and they get that information from the spotter, and it's like all right, yes, sir, I'll do that. And then the best drivers that have the best talent, the best skill in reserve, they can take what you just said, because everybody's chasing 100-point run. 100-point run is the goal, not, oh, this looks sick. Oh, this will look dope for the cameras. I want to feel every zone, every clip, and everything perfectly. Spotter, how can I do that? Can you tell me where I fell short and what I can do better? And that's what a pro driver does. So it really gets me off the deep end when regular Joe Schmo is like, nah, dog, I know what I'm doing. I'm sick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. That right there, man. Like, I mean, just listening to that, and every time we talk about it, it's like that's one of the things where I mentioned before, not having a team and things, the situation is very, people are like, well, you got like Americans. I'm like, nah, man, but they're military. I'm not military. Two different wavelengths, man. So that's one of the things where I know I'm looking at going into FD Japan and things like that. I gotta have at least a spotter. I gotta have, I'm good at mechanics, but I ain't got time to be, changing tires and shit. I got driver meetings to be at. So like I gotta have like at least two or three solid people, to even skill aside, skill aside or whatever, man, you got to have some kind of infrastructure. And also the rules. I think they say you got to have at least 4. Some of the rules, you got to have at least 2, at least 1. So
you have to have a crew, man.
You can't just rock up
because they want to. They got a show to run. Yeah. This is a show.
You're like, where the fuck is Johnson at? He's putting on his tires.
Yeah.
Like, nah, dude, we got.
Oh, here he comes in his dirty ass suit because he's been under his car changing the transmission himself. Yeah. We can't take any series pictures with this dust ball, this grease ball, motherfucker.
You don't miss the fucking yearbook photo and shit. Like, it's like,
and it's a real thing when drivers meeting or autograph session.
Yeah.
They will come get you. Yo, what the fuck are you doing? Come on.
Yeah.
Autograph session. You could be in the middle of your whole world collapsing. Car is totaled. You're trying to throw hands in there and help your team. Get your stupid ass over here, man. Get with these fans, these people that are paying, our series, because they don't give that much money. But you know what I mean? Get over here, man, and handle it. It's a real deal.
It's real shit,
so that's why That's why Michael Essa is one of the biggest enigmas.
Yeah,
he has gone and won a championship with one person.
Yeah. Him
and Stan. We got to get Stan on one day, bro. I swear to God, Stan, his story. A young kid, right? Young black kid working his ass off in FD pits. And like I said, most times it was him and one other person. Sometimes it was just him running a pro series.
Yeah, man, set that up, man.
You know
set that up, man. Because I don't know him, so we got
to talk to Stan.
Yeah, see what's up.
Stan will tell you how grimy this is.
Oh yeah,
and not secrets because he's been around. He knows, he's heard a lot, and seen a lot.
Right.
But not like secrets of that, but like how grimy it is. Really being there in the thick of it, bro. In the middle of rainstorms, changing, getting wet, soggy, dirty, nasty. Changing gears, gear oil, changing transmissions, changing turbos, pulling out bash bars that are bent into shit. Like, he'll tell you the realest of the real deal war stories from a young kid that he's doing it from a very young age, man. And then to see where he's excelled to, because he's in a very dope position right now. Right. If you don't follow him or don't know, if people that are watching don't follow him or don't know what he's doing, it's like a sideshow or something. Yeah. It's fucking raining. What are people doing? But it's like, if you don't know what he's doing, Stan really went from grassroots to it's a dope story. So I'm gonna hook that up, dude. We gotta talk to Stan, bro.
What's his last name?
Williams.
Sam Williams. I'll look him up and everything. I'll add him and stuff like that. But yeah, man, that's that right there, man. Like, and that, for me, that really triggers my soul, man, because I understand a team. You can't get you can't get to the fucking moon with one guy. You know what I'm saying? To get to them, but you know what I'm saying?
Lightning struck.
Right, it struck that time, but like it worked, and that means that one situation means it is possible. Mm-hmm. You don't have to have. Personally, this is just me talking Donald Jackson.
Right.
If I got 2 or 3 solid helpers, I'm good, man. I don't need.
You're comfortable.
I don't need. Some people, they gotta have 10. And I watch YouTube. Everybody watch YouTube, and you always see those videos where you got like 15 dudes in the background. Like, and I always say
there's
this,
like
man,
dudes standing around.
4 dudes eating a pizza. 2 dudes drinking fucking Zimas in the corner, and nobody drinks Zima anymore.
Yeah, smashing White Claws.
Right.
They just did.
And like it's just and they on their phone. Everybody on their phone, just like you're living while the dude is recording the video that's going to be on video. It's like the Inception shit going on right now, man. Like you're recording while he's recording a video that's going to get millions of views and whatever. I'm not talking about LZ. There's a lot of guys out there. No. There's a lot of guys out there, man. That got that's how they want to run that cruise. And I don't like a lot of dudes around when I'm working on cars, especially because you get the whole, hey man, try this or try it. Like, no, they ain't no. You slide that bitch in, you rotate the fucking tail shaft, you line up the splines, and the clutch falls in. The same shit. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck I gotta try, man? Like, I hate that shit, man. Like, nah, dude. And I had people around like to hang out, and do some other stuff, and that's why I kind of killed that, and I don't have it going in my shop, man. But like you said, man, to kind of go back over what you mentioned, man, and the confidence in doing your stuff. What it comes down to, man, is like you know that chasing you pretty much chasing yourself, and that's the best way to be because you're gonna get better. And naturally, if you got a bench, if you got another person there as a benchmark, you know, well, I'm faster than him, I'm not as fast as him, we're the same. And that's pretty much all it's going to be.
Right.
You're going to be those three things. You're going to be faster than, the same, or slower. There's no in between there. So myself and I went.
And slow's not a problem. Right. What some people should understand. So like even with the motorcycles. So I think I'm pretty much one of the nuttier friends in my group of riders, right? So there's times I can just be ballistically fast, but that'll lead me to, if I'm just riding with my friends group and I didn't go with some other like really crazy riders, I would be out front and everybody else is left behind. But a lot of times I sit back and I chase behind other friends. Whatever their pace is, I ride it, and I ride it pretty quickly. And it gets to the point where in the middle of the riding, I'm trying to anticipate what they're doing so that if they brake, I'm braking at the same time, and then it's accelerating, and then it's lean. So it'll look aggressive in that position, but we're not going fast at all. Right. But that's like shadow boxing. Because then when I go by myself, I get out, and it's just like, dude, God damn, you're going fast. Like, what the hell? But it's so normal, so regular to me because I've been acting as such behind at a slow pace. So now when the pace is really going, it's just like, this is normal. And it's been the same thing with what we do on the games with the cars, with drifting, with you dress rehearsal so much. When it's time for the show, it's like, all right, let's dance. And it's regular. It's like never being rusty. Sim racing is something that allows you to always have your body warmed up, your brain warmed up, your reactions warmed up, mechanics warmed up. Every time you jump on the track, it's like, I've put in so many hours on this.
Dude, I don't understand. Even with the COVID, you know, it sucked, but like we mentioned before, it was a great thing for the sim thing because we already knew about it. We knew about it, and the thing about it, and I ain't gonna lie, man, you know, I'm a human. I sat back and I'm like, you know, certain people got the sim rigs now. Everybody's like 350 likes and all the comments, and like I can't believe, I'm like, bro, I had this shit for like the last 5-6 years, man, and nobody was saying shit about it, and all of a sudden COVID put motherfuckers on their ass and inside the house, and he's like, hey man, let me get this sim, and then it blew up, and it's like we could be like, nah man, like, but I'm like, cool, welcome to the party, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Now you're like number 500,000 in the world because there's that many motherfuckers playing it. And now you realize how slow you are when you go in there and you fucking like, damn, I'm fucking 2,550 on a day. Like, nah, dude, that top 10 spot, and that's a door. And that top 10 spot is a fucking dude on a controller.
Yeah. I hate that. But I love the fact that games now indicate it. They're like,
they do say
it's a big red thumb.
Yeah.
Hey, cuz you can't escape that. You're using a controller.
Like you got instant left, like instant. Because I ain't gonna lie, man, I did drifting for a long time on a controller, and I was really good at it. But it's like you got instant left and right lock, and you could tell when the car is like moving around. You can see like the difference between somebody watch one of your videos on the wheel and somebody watch a controller guy. You can always see that car that instant left and right lock. You can see the car hopping and jumping, but then some guys are smooth with it on the
was smooth with it with the controls.
But it is what it is, that man. But like, you know, man, it just, you know, it comes down to it. But like you mentioned on the fast slow thing, it's one of those things too where you don't realize when you get that rub for somebody, and like you see, I was at Ibisu, and I mean at that one point I was like, man, I can't hang with none of these dudes, and I'm like, going back to the pits, and I'm down on myself drifting wise, and then I notice, I'm like, man, fuck, I'll keep trying to follow these guys, and then eventually I notice I'm like right behind them, and then what happens is like, you're still not good enough or confident enough to get in front or whatever, but when you get around your other dudes back home, now you're blowing their shit away because now you're so much faster than you were before, and that's what happened when I came back to local. It was like, hey man, you're really fast. I'm like, I don't feel like it. You know, I don't feel like I don't. You're saying it because maybe you're being nice, but like I'm actually really faster now because I was driving. I was trying to follow Suinaga-san, or I was trying to follow Christian Pickering, who they're champs in respective series and shit. You know what I'm saying? And and even Pickering, who was a champ, was like, dude, I was running out of talent, dude, because he was like, they were just going in, and he was like, bro, I was just throwing that bitch in. He don't like fainting towards the wall. He was like, man, I was throwing that bitch in, but I felt like doing a drift. I'm over my talent level. He was saying, like but he was still doing it, but he's still saying he was still feeling. So, I mean, I never done Irwindale. I never done any of these tracks, so I can imagine the first time you go out there, like, fuck, you know what I mean? Put it on, put it down, and then after you could do that shit 10 times in a row, that confidence that you would get from being able to know I can wake up.
It's like a real life. It's game achievement.
It's in you, man. You can wake up. I know JTP. Vaughn, all these dudes can fucking wake up in a fever and wipe the cold of their eyes and fucking get in their car and do their lap. And that's just, it's in them. Yeah. It's in you. You know what it is. You know what it initiate. You know that oil stain is there. You know not to get too close because you got the marble against the fucking track or whatever in some places. And, but the rookie don't know that there's tire shit over there and debris and he'll go wash out. And, you know what I mean? It happens, man. So, it's just a learning curve out there, guys. So this whole podcast, I guess we can nip it in the bud by saying it don't fucking matter how much you spend. Seat time is seat time.
Seat time is seat time, and keep it real with yourself, because everybody else can lie to you, but you know that you lie to you. And then when you lie to yourself, you know.
But then when you watch that video back, GoPro is different. GoPro is different because they make the fisheye makes the speed, like it's hard to tell it. Like you talked about before, it's hard to tell your actual speed. But then when you watch an out-car video, like, man, I thought I was killing it. But then I'm like, some dude showed me a video, I'm like, man, I was going slow as fuck, man. Like, I felt like I was going faster. So in my mind, I thought I was killing it. But the reason why nobody was coming over there because it was an average run. It wasn't nothing that was. It wasn't a knock. I mean, people think I don't hate Nakamura, man. I'm not a fanboy, but I mean, that motherfucker. When you're on the outside, man, like when you going that fast from the fucking outside, you're definitely it's a different level, man. It's a different level
when you're in that. Yeah. So what you're saying is when you visually are looking at what Nakamura's doing, and you're like, from the
outside, from standing outside,
Holmes is rolling when you're looking at him roll. Yeah. It's like, did Son just commit to that corner at that speed? And he was already back. He was already backwards.
Ain't no wise fab either.
Yeah, he's already backwards and going dumb fast, and I know how to drift, so I know all of that. He's controlling the rear wheels because he's over his lock limit. Yeah. He's wilding out. Yeah. And then if you were inside the car, you'd be sitting there like, Lord God.
Imagine having a fucking G meter. That fucking G ball be like stuck. That bitch should come out the G meter.
Be like, stuck at 2. Yeah, you'd have to increase it to 5 or something.
Yeah, that motherfucker. Because
it would be like 2.
Yeah, so
2.
Hey man, guys that are listening, man, please don't take it like because I said some stuff and it is what it is. But I mean, it's the thing about it. Like his skill is what they are. He's a human. He's good at what he does because he commits his time to it. And it's the thing about it, like, I mean, we're capable drivers, man. You got to have a confidence to do this. Other than that, your confidence in yourself, or you're not gonna be passing those cars in your RX-8 like you was in the track, because you're like, oh man, that's a fucking GT, whatever. I need to stay back because he has 500 horsepower. You know all the specs.
And that's what I was just about to say.
You know more about that car than that guy does.
I know he's ready to kill me once it clicks for him.
Yeah,
but. It didn't click for him yet?
Fuck it, I'm done.
Run. You know what I'm saying? So I know myself, let me get out of Dodge real quick.
Yeah.
And, and keep it moving and get out the way. Because there's certain cars that can maneuver. Like, matter of fact, the track day, they've been tagging me or sharing a lot of my stuff today, the organizers, and they just shared some of his shit. And I'm looking at this video. His personal best was a 151. See, he got 3 seconds in faster than me because that car is so capable. But when I was looking at him, the GT4, the blue Cayman GT4. Okay. But when I was around him, he was blowing braking zones and going way out and then coming, but he didn't have it. When he chased me, he started to get faster and faster and faster because I was so consistent. We did 4 laps of battle. and I blew him away. I had a gap on him pretty big. We were moving through lap traffic. I was moving through like that.
Yeah.
But then when he started, like, oh man, this little I don't know if it was this little punk ass RX-8 is mobbing on me. I don't know what it was, but man, he started putting his foot in it. But because he was able to see like where I'm hitting the brakes, rolling off of him, getting on the gas immediately, his car, no matter what my little Mazda can do, his car can do it better.
Right.
Brake, grip, accelerate. He just has to do it.
Right.
So he don't have to say, yeah, following that little Mazda around the track helped me out. He don't got to say it. But in his head, he knows some of the game unlocked once I followed that little Mazda around. Man. Because like that's what I did with motorcycle track days. I didn't go to try to chase other 600cc classes, and I'm not going to go mess with the 1000s that are on the track. They blow me the fuck away. I can't learn nothing from them. They're gone so fast, I can't do anything for a good rider. What I would do on motorcycle track days with my fast-ass 600, because I was one of the faster 600s that was there, I'd chase supermotos. Now, why would I chase supermotos? Because they're bicycles. They glide through the corners hella fast. They brake hella late. They're on the throttle real quick. They could use a lot of the track differently, the different lean angles and things like that. I would chase a couple of supermoto dudes around. They'd be blasted. And it annoyed them at first before they knew what I was doing. The guys got familiar and was just like, all right, come on. But at first they'd be like, go by, like get away from me. Right. I'm like, hell nah. Keep going. And I'd stick to them. And then once they understood, I don't want to pass them on the straightaway. I want you to go. Show me what you know. And so when I learned like, oh, they're going in, then I learned, okay, this is where the 600 is king at. Because I can almost emulate what these supermotos are doing, where leader bikes can't. They're going too fucking fast. You have to ride leader bikes a different way. Gotcha. You could ride 600s like a toy. And man, once I learned that, then it was like 3 laps of that. I went by them. All right, cool. And they're like, have fun, because I know what you did, and now you go do what you learned. Right. And when I keep it real, when I tell people, when they're like, oh man, you got so fast on the 600, this is how I learned it. I chased slow bikes around. I did what they did, where they did it at. Not when they did it, but where they did it. So, and then I try to emulate it.
Real quick, because I'm not, I tell guys straight up, man, I'm not a motorcycle guy, man. So in supermoto and your 600, what would, in the car comparison, what would a supermoto? What's a good car comparison for a supermoto bike? And then your 600, what would be a comparison for a guy to visualize, like a Geo Metro chasing a Porsche,
a go-kart, a Miata chasing a go-kart?
Oh yeah, shit, damn.
So go-karts are just like
lightweight, yeah.
Brake, yeah, just the lightest thing with a lot of grip. They don't go like really fast up top, but you can just fly into a corner on a go-kart. Right. And then a Miata essentially isn't that fast, but it's the closest thing to staying flat out and just lasering. Gotcha. Which now I'm trying to get the mindset that an RX-8 is that. An RX-8 has just a little more power, revs so much further, and pretty light. Yeah. But the wheelbase being long, the chassis being better, dog, I was dogging Miatas, and they were on race tires.
Yeah, dude. Dude, I can just imagine, man. Again, going. It's just in my mind. It's like because you're so like everybody. We assume that everybody's well rounded with like all the cars and everything. Yourself, a lot more well rounded than most guys. No more driven more cars than most guys. So again, as you're passing these guys in your mind, like. Before I'll make the point, dude. So in your mind, you're like driving by a car all like this is my thought of you. You're in your RX-8, you're going by a car. You go by this car, all-wheel drive, 2000 whatever.
Knowing everything about
knowing all the specs as you pass them. Next car, rear wheel drive, whatever, FR layout, blah blah blah. Going by the car, all these specs, and then you go by the car. And the guy's like, holy fuck, man, that thing about 400 horsepower. And that bitch is 180 horsepower. They don't know what the fuck it is. And he's like, is it a Honda? Is it a fucking... I mean, most people know the RX-8 got a rotary in it. But it's like, oh, he must got a turbo in that shit. Or a supercharger. And they don't know this shit,
and
man.
Then when and then that's when I'm popping the hood and making sure my pre-mix container is full, and they're looking like,
that's
yo,
the best,
this fucking thing is stopped,
yeah, that's
dude.
That's the fucking very
like,
best.
Yeah,
like, that's the best shit when they pull up. So man, what you got done? And you'd be like, oil change.
Nothing. Oil change. The only thing I'm gonna change is the oil, big dog.
Dude, that's the best.
You know, it was funny because there's a Miata, and I was in the car, and so because I know about how the car is gonna maneuver and move from drifting, because that's what you do. My specialty. I love attacking and chase.
Right.
So I like to study cars, their movement, how they are when they're about to fully past adhesion, when they're just about to be like out of control, things like that. So I'm doing the same thing gripping, and it's just like it causes me to be on the track and do this Miata. I was like, this nigga about to lose it, and then he went,
and you're like,
and then I'm like, he's losing. He's gonna lose it.
Yeah.
And he tank slapped back on, and he tank slapped so hard. If I had tried to take the overpass, he would have came into the side of my car. So I just sat back, and he came in, and then I was just laughing. And then when we got to the bottom of the turn, went right by him. And I even said it because every time I went out, I kept catching this Miata. I was like, I know this Miata is sick of me, because it was just like, excuse me, pardon me, and it's literally like he's
dude. On that too, man. That shit's like I can know the I know it. We have the ability again. We definitely want to get that drift grip event somehow going. But the guys, they could tell when I was getting bored because they again, man, the mindset, man. Like, we don't want to crash our shit, but we don't. If it happens, it happens. You know what I'm saying? And that's that barrier where a lot of guys don't break through it, which is why that Mustang wouldn't hammer down and this blow and keep And so the guys, what happened with me there, all the local track days, I'll get bored because I'm like, you guys want to track with me, but you're not. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to. When I get close to you, put on hazard so I can go around because you don't want me close to you just in case you fuck up. And then then when I get in front of you, I'm doing power grips and you don't know when I'm going to spin out, which I'm not because I got full control of the car. So the dude, I'm sideways a little bit, not you know what I'm saying. I'm not like
just enough,
and I'm holding it and I'm setting the line. And then I smooth out zero counter and I continue on to the next apex. And you're like, dude, like, I thought you were gonna spin out. I'm like, nah, dude, we did 10 laps. I would have spun.
Yeah, no.
So he was like, how do you do? I'm like, dude, you set in the apex, you set in a line, you get an angle, slip it a little bit, and you just throttle. You just hold the throttle smooth, and then you let out the throttle, and the wheels are gonna stop spinning, and you're gonna grip up. But if you grip up, you know how you did when you fucking let off and you grip up into, some shit you don't want to grip up into. You know what I mean? Like, steer away from the fucking wall, then you grip up. You don't grip up into the wall. So the guys there who are drifting, if you get in a situation where the run is being canceled, steer away from the fucking wall. Because if you grip up, you can go like I never been on a bank, but in the bank you see it happen all the time. A guy go like this and it grips up into the fucking wall.
Dude, that's what I remember. I said earlier. I said the first slide was no big deal. Yeah. I felt super safe. The second one, when it went into it, that was the dangerous one because I said, yo, holy shit.
You're going away from
so much closer to the wall and the edge of the track. Right. If I don't save this right now, it's bad. I only have like that much time to save that. So I had to react. And it was like quick counter steer out to get the car to hang and then turn the wheel in to get the car to do this. Yeah. So it was like, woo, boy. Yeah. That could have got scary. Then I'm chasing the Grand Sport down and I'm flying and I use so much track. I use so much throttle. And then I just touched the tires off. The car crossed this way, came back on track and crossed the other way. But my hands were so drifty. Yeah. It was just like, yo. Hey,
do you say that? Do you have to, I do this, man. Do you have to mentally, like, it's like, all right, turn that shit off, man. You got, because you'll be like this, and like when you stir, I seen Lewis Hamilton, those guys do it, so I know it's not, you don't want to cross up, right?
Yep.
But
I don't do that.
But at the same
time.
And
I've gotten shit about that. guys are like, "Why are your hands so free?"
Yeah, so you kind of like you're like kind of tossing it, but I've seen
I'm a mix between yeah. So if I don't need to, I'm like this.
Or you just let that bitch go and you're like, let go.
I'll go like this a lot of times.
Okay.
And so people like
because you see the motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's why I like
you see the motherfuckers like they'll be wanting to turn their thumb will be all
never
here and shit. Like I'm like, nah, let that bitch go. Let your hand slide and then catch it back up the top or the.
Dude, hold on. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna go straight to it. So it was literally at that moment when it let go.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude, I'm telling you, it was so messed up of a situation, but my hands were so free and ready to do what
drift shit,
what needed to be done. You know, it was and I played with it like I crashed, like I was gonna crash, but dude, my hands were so ready for this.
Yeah. You gotta be loose, man. Why you finding it, man?
You gotta be limber, yeah.
Some guy posted on the S2000 forum, and it was a cool. The video was fucking awesome. Like it was an S2000 on Tsukuba, playing with his buddy with the GT. We'll be right back right now. All right, so that's you're in a grip session right now, right?
I'm gripping, and the car was like this.
Yeah. See, but the guy was like, he was saying like, you know, because S2000 guys, some guys not time attack, but autocross, and he was like, hey man, he was like, why is the S2000 guy like he's driving like this? If you see my hands, he's like, he's let me see, let's check it out real quick.
My hands are just loose.
That's a good.
So when
it's a good way to say
when it touches dirt,
yeah.
Look at my hands go free.
Yeah.
But look at my hands go free. It's just it's I do the grip thing,
right?
But it's like the second something goes bad.
You were loose, man. You were loose enough to.
Yeah, the second it goes bad, I release from this grip to fingertips, and then it's like just tossed.
Because the thing about it, like that, if you some people try to counter correct and they get like this, and like you don't want to be. That's when you get like that, you're kind of fucked.
And that minute portion of second that you were fucked up.
Yeah.
And couldn't make the correction.
Right. Instead of letting go, instead of letting go, reposition your hand. And that's where it comes into the skill and everything. And then you see again, I bring this up. The guy in S2000, he was like, "Dude, why is this guy?" Because he was like, how you were like this, but he was like, from the video, you could see he was so fucking tense that every movement was like he was just like a robot and shit. Like he was going like this.
And another thing I noticed, which I was looking at. And like I said, I critique all of my shit. Yeah. That's part of why I film so many camera angles, and I only put specific stuff that goes in the vlog. Right. But a lot of drivers,
you get those.
They're driving like this. Right. Their arms are like this, and they're like that.
Right.
Now I'm not this close, but I'm not far like this.
Right.
But I'm at this point. I can do whatever I want, and my hands don't get caught up.
Right.
It's always this clearing for me. It's clearing, and I don't get this because I'm not this close. Because imagine when something goes wrong and you're like this, you're like, oh shit,
like you fighting bees and shit.
Punching your dick, punch yourself in the face, blew your knuckles off from the A pillar. You're wilding out. But because I have. Because I have a little bit more space, but I'm not so far back where I'm losing touch of my controls. Right. I have just a little bit more space. I have the freedom to fly. And us, we're focused on, if I'm doing this, like I didn't have to require myself to use a handbrake or a shifter. So I have less stuff to do gripping.
Right.
Bitch, let me just stay floored and fucking manhandle this shit. Yeah. It's like I'm not thinking about doing this with one hand and tossing it, catching it, and tossing it back because I'm shifting or grabbing handbrake. Yeah. Man, gripping, I just let them hands fly, baby, and it's just like whoop. You know what I'm saying? It's like boxing. You shadow box so much, you ready for the get your ass out of here, bing bing. You know what I mean? It's like
you mentioned right there, man. A lot of people don't realize outside. We know because we drift.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize, man. What they see is done with one hand. They don't realize that shit when they watch when you watch FDD one. Like a lot of that shit, like you'll go in, you kind of you're gonna shift down, so you'll go in, like you'll throw that bitch in, and then like you're doing like this with one hand, and then like you got that one hand because like some guys, the lazy guys, they wait for the wheel to kind of turn
they
back,
go and let it slip.
Or you like nah, bitch, you come back this way. Like
I'm like, oh, I got your goddamn ass.
So a lot of people don't realize, like, dude, they think you're in a bitch like you're just in there like this, like crossing.
It's a lazy Sunday.
Because if you do that wheel gonna stop. You're gonna understeer. You're not gonna get the angle you need.
Mm-hmm.
And things like that. So people don't realize. So then, like you said, once you get in the grip, you got a whole fucking hand that ain't doing shit.
That ain't about to do nothing. How can I help, sir? Man down the hatches.
Because you're shifting. You're shifting is just you're in a gear. You're not. You know what I mean? You're not constantly. You're not fucking with the e-brake at all. If you touch the e-brake on a grip day, you kind of some shit's really gone wrong.
Yeah, you lost your rear brake bias, and you really trying to handle it.
Yeah, actually, speaking on that, I had to do that with the Subaru. I had to do that because the e-brake wouldn't lock. It was a cable one. Now I got a hydro, so it wouldn't lock, but it was strong enough to kind of because the car was tilting forward. So I didn't have the brakes was just not fucking working in the rear.
Yeah, standing on the nose. Mm-hmm.
So in that corner, I was using the e-brake because it didn't lock, but it was strong enough to even out the shit. Because guys that are listening or watching, brake bias, for what you don't know, is just pretty much you could have some guys want forward bias, which you have more in the front. And you got rear bias. You got a forward bias, you like in the drifting because you want to make the rear end light to kind of upset the suspension.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if you got too much rear, then the front's gonna the rear's gonna sink, and you want to have it kind of. I correct myself. You can have it however the fuck you want to have it.
Yeah, you can have it however fuck you want to have it.
So let me correct myself.
But as you're explaining it, this is when I'm doing this. This is how the car feels. So if you have more rear brake bias, let's just say it's not skidding.
Right.
When it brakes more in the rear, you're gonna feel the car do something like this. If it brakes more in the front, you feel the car topple this way. If it's braking evenly, the car, they use the term sits down. Right. The car sits down because it's like both evenly. So yeah, it's I had to do something, you'll see it on TV. I had to do something very recently that I only had the rear handbrake not to skid but to slow down.
Gotcha.
And it's very interesting that I have skill in doing that because when I was a kid, I was driving an older car that didn't really have brake bias. It was an old car. The back brakes were drums and it just had calipers on the front. And I found out, this car stops a lot quicker when I brake and I pull the handbrake just a little bit. So I got really good at holding my thumb on that button and never forgot and pulled and released. So I would be driving, mashing in the back roads. I was delivering pizzas and I'd come up to a corner and I'd be flying and brake hella late. And I'd brake with the front and use a little bit of that handbrake and the car would just and I was flying through. So you get those kind of weird little talents. And if you're on the track, and literally, because I feel like my car needs a proportioning valve now because it brakes so hard with the big brake hitting the front. I feel like, if something goes wrong, shit, bitch, let me get this handbrake.
Yeah. So speaking on that, man, like just random shit, like in when you playing Gran Turismo or any other Sims, man, what do you? Well, we'll say, all right, just break it down. So Gran Turismo, Settle, whatever, man. What do you normally do? You even fuck with the brake bias on those? Because I know.
Yep.
Yeah. So what do you normally?
Depends on the car.
Car depends. That's what I mean. That's why I corrected myself because some dude will watch the shit like, hey man, I can run 40, whatever, or this, like you're true.
And guys will apply that on everything.
Right. You can't. And I was one of those guys. I used to go like, let me put the 40 here, and then I wanted because you got in that drift mode and shit, and you wanted to kind of sit up in the back and shit and let the wheel kick out. And then, I would kind of leave it, honestly, in most cars, I leave it at 50-50 because I'm like, I'll just drive it. If I got the car right now in real life, I'll be like, all right, let me drive this bitch. You know what I mean? I'm not going to fuck with the bias. It's not my car. But guys are there, this is again, man, where, man, there's so much shit that goes into a fast lap, biases. Now you're talking about the engine tuning, that's done. Now you got the fucking suspension tuning, that's done. Now you got the brake bias tuning. now you got the aero tuning. Like all that shit comes together into that 42-second Tsukuba run. If they're even at 42 seconds now, because that's fast.
Dude, no, I was watching something. They're like 47, 48.
I'm trying to get the big
and I was looking at that, and they're street cars too. Yeah. And I was like, it's a couple of FDs. I'm like,
I'm trying to get in the 50s, man. I'm trying to get to the 50s.
Dude, no, 48s, 48s, 47s. A couple of like, and one of the cars that are like very close, like a 49 something. It looks like a street FD with just a wing and splitter. It's not like the big crazy aero and stuff. But it goes to show the car being set up enough.
Right.
Good suspension, good traction, and can make the turn.
I'm pretty sure he got at least a flat bottom, probably at the minimum.
Oh yeah. It was a stock body C West type of aero, so it wasn't like super gaudy. It was like super Taikuya. The car looked like a super Taikuya car, right? And it just had a splitter, diffuser, and a standard like C West type wing. It wasn't big end plates or anything. And he was 2 seconds behind the cars with the huge gaudy aero, crazy end plates. And I'm looking at the times, and I was like, damn, 49, that's crazy fast. And then I saw 48. I said, holy shit, dude. Then 47. It's like, what the hell these dudes are moving?
I'm just trying to get down below the, I haven't had a real car there, so, I don't know what I'm capable of there. I got the Subaru in the 112, which 112, 111 was like almost average. So in that thing, it was like, there was like 111, it was like 20 cars in 111. Then I had 112, and it was like a group of us. But the cars there, we're looking at GTR, S2000, RX-7, like these.
Yeah.
And they're like, and this, R35s. But then again, you scale all those 74 drivers back, and like, well, who's really? And then you had it was like bam, 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 and then like it was 10 whatever. It then 55. 55 was a double X that was actually there. For the next event was a fucking all out battle where
since you're there, you get to see the realistic lap time.
So he was running his.
If you pick yourself out off of IG and YouTube, you're only going to see those exceptional.
Right.
This is nutty. It's those 7 dudes that were clearing those times.
Right.
It was a whole field of people doing 1 minute flats.
Yeah.
700 horsepower GTRs doing 101s or 59s. And, it's like you have to understand
you got one element of the pie, man.
That is the superhuman realm. There is this, which is okay to be, that is about 103 to 59.
Right.
You get those dudes that are dipping down, and it's like, God, how
your Taniguchis, your Tarzans, your those guys. Those people don't Tarzan. Tarzan Yamada.
Tarzan Yamada is
Tarzan Yamada is one of he's a rebel. He's not controllable. That's why you don't Tarzan. You kind of he resorted to kind of from what I heard. That's why he resorted to kind of just being a driver. People know he's not hard to work with. From what I heard, he does his thing. He's
Dennis Rodman.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly.
Yeah.
That's the best.
He's a skilled dude.
That's the best guy for guys who don't know this. Yeah. He's wild. Yeah. He's wild.
He's a skilled dude. He's very good. He can be he did a lot of endurance racing. Right. He's going to be the dude that's like, I can rely on this cat. Is he going to be super disciplined? No.
Yeah.
He's not gonna be.
Yeah.
But he's gonna be what you need him to be. So, like, if anybody's watched, the Bulls documentary, which that's what the Jordan doc was a Bulls documentary. Yeah. Rodman was an integral part. He was an essential part,
no doubt,
of what that team was in the 90s that became unbeatable. It was him.
Right.
You had those pieces that were winning pieces without Rodman, but when Rodman came, it was like,
right,
because you're who you are,
and it was, man.
And we're who we are.
Because Jordan,
we're about to be us.
Yeah, because if Jordan, dude like Jordan, that documentary by they say it exposed how he really was. He's a winner. If a dude like Jordan seen anybody that was being. You're fucking out of there, man. Jordan's not coming to your hotel to come find you if you're not worth his time.
Man's mispractice to go bang some bitches in a hotel, man. Yeah. I'm gonna go get him personally. Yeah, cause I need that man.
Right. And we talking about one of them like Madonna. So you talking about like
Carmen Electra?
Yeah. So it's like, dude,
he was outside.
Yeah, he was outside. Smash. And then not only that, the motherfucker, because I remember it, because I remember watching it, because that was a heyday wrestling. So I'm like, that's fucking Robin on fucking Nitro, and like at the playoffs going at the same time, and I didn't put it together because I'm like, I care more about wrestling.
Oh yeah, the wrestling, yeah.
I didn't realize that shit was at the same fucking time. The same, it wasn't like off season. It was like, no, they were in the fucking finals. They were in the finals.
Son said, I need a break.
Yeah.
And he went to do other shit.
Wrestling.
And they said, you done yet?
Yeah.
You had some time to yourself?
Hey, man, that's when you
come on, man.
That's when you make right there, man. Shit like that, people want to hop and cry about. Like, you just make when you're undeniable, man. It's like, hey, man, people are gonna play ball. It's like that's where you got to swallow your pride. Because I mean, even me. I mean, I talk about it a lot with me being the only American in Japan with a performance shop. I'm 5th year in business. I'm doing obviously well enough to be open. But then again, Instagram's out there, so I know it's guys. I talked about it by the last podcast. There's dudes in my town right here who knows what I do, but for whatever reason, my clout ain't high enough or whatever. They rather go 8 hours down the road to take their car to Top Secret. I'm like, hey, man. And then when you see me, don't make up an excuse why. It's just like, hey, man, you obviously smoking the gotta
spare me, cuz.
Right, smoking the. And I'm not hating, man. Smoking the gotta been in the game for 50 years, man. I can do the same shit they do at their shop, but they're more known than I am. Hey, go get your Top Secret sticker for fucking $5,000. You know what I mean? For a break change, whatever.
5,000.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, man, go do that, and you know what I mean. When I get on that level, maybe you can come in for oil change. Maybe not.
And that's a real thing, man. I don't. I tell people all the time, especially people that come to my YouTube, why are you not more known?
Oh, dude.
Why don't your homeboys help you out? And why don't your homeboys that are this big help you out and share your shit?
Yeah.
It's not my time, big dog.
And also,
I'm gonna keep putting out the good work though.
Right.
Because when motherfuckers find me, like if this situation happens to do whatever, when people find me, if they have the interest and you got some time to kill, scroll back in the playlist.
Yep.
I got hella shit that's good quality. Yep. And when you look through that and say, yo, this man is worth the follow. Y'all need to follow him. If you find it in your heart to share it, do that. And if it starts to happen organically, that's what I want. I don't want no hype. I don't want the courtesy share just because if people don't really believe in me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's when you believe in me, when you really believe in me, that's when it's my time.
Right.
And I'm so trustworthy and so good by the time you found me, you gonna be like, yo, that's that man. Yeah. That's one of them ones.
Yeah, man.
Because I'm already set in my ways. I've been doing it on my own. I've been doing all the backbreaking shit that I need to do to get this work ethic, to get this driving talent and everything. This is my level and standard, and this is what I'm going to always do. If there's many times that I could go get a faster car, go do this or that. But, I was looking at my homeboy's his video from Laguna Seca this weekend, and I'm over here putting around in Sonoma, and I'm looking at his speeds coming out of the corners, and I'm like, God damn, that thing went from 70 miles an hour to 117. Like, my fastest speed in Sonoma was 112, and I was standing on it 112 miles an hour. I'm standing on it, and I was like, yo, one day I'm going to break this thing in my head where I'm like, I can't leave a chassis until I've mastered it. I can't do unfinished business. That's not me. I can't jump to the next plateau of something and I have not mastered the level under it. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to. It's like beating a level of a game. Let's just say video game. Say you went through Ninja Turtles or Contra, but you lucked up and got to the next level and lost all your men. And now you got to start from the beginning again, and you don't know. It's going to take you forever to get right back to where you were. No, I gotta master it. So when I do fall flat on my ass, let's just speak real mentality, right? I've been flat broke before. I've lost a job before and didn't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. Right. I got a kid, I got a mortgage. How do I make this work? But I've been there before.
Yeah.
No panic zone.
It's a character.
I got this. I'm gonna figure this shit out, and we be fine. And then you climb right back up to a comfortable position like I'm at again. And you know what I'm saying? So I've been there, but that's part of being a master. My mother used to always tell me, man, master your surroundings, master your environment. Those small little things that she used to say, she used to make me say carpe diem every day. She used to make me do all of this shit every day. As a kid, you're like, all right, carpe fucking diem. Jesus Christ. Okay, but those small little things in my mentality stuck in my mentality. So when things get crazy, when things aren't going away, when I want people, when I feel like I put a banger together and I put in hella work and I want people to view it and it don't get views, I'm not mad at that. That's fine. You niggas didn't find it.
Yeah.
You'll find it somehow, though.
And shit like that, they find like it'll be a one situation, it'll be a slow burn in one of those videos, and then it won't hit right away. Then it'll come back, man. And like that stuff, right? All you're saying, man, is 100% true. It's just, hey, man, think about it. When people do that and they be like, oh, and like you said, when they be like, hey, man, oh, I didn't know you had this. I'm like, yeah, well, now you know. Then what happened? Then I know you get this shit too, because I just got it like 5 times over the weekend for people I just met. And it was, by the way, I had the dude Tapiwa from Africa, a cat from South Africa. He's running an Naoki page who has a lot of followers. Then he I looked at that. I was like, he runs the fan page or the Naoki technique page. It was. And the dude's never been outside of Africa, never been to Japan, but he knows that. And this is the technology. You don't have to fucking. I could be a master on Egypt, and I've never fucking been there. It's just so much shit out there. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't say it because this shit was in the fucking encyclopedias, but it's video stuff. He can watch videos, he can run it, and you think it's some cat in Japan. It's the dude in South Africa running a fan page for a dude in Japan that he never met. You know what I'm saying? So what I did, you know what I mean, I had him on the podcast. I'm like, bro, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and this one of the charity shit is just the dude was just so cool. And I was like, asking him, like, man, so I sent him a bunch of magazines. I sent them other stuff and everything, and it's not that Trump, you know, Nakamura, whatever. They might see his page, they might not see his page, but I knew him. They knew of him, but they didn't. You know, I don't know what they sent this way, but I sent them some stuff from Pinku style or whatever. Sent them some shirts, sent them some gear and everything. And that was all the appreciation because I mean, again, South Africa. It ain't like you're in California and shit. You know what I mean? They ain't.
Yeah. It's a whole different demographic.
Let's be real. You know? We know what it is. Even South Africa is still. I don't think they consider. I don't know if the whole Africa is considered third world or just certain parts.
There's certain places, yeah.
Right, but South Africa is a little bit more, you know, built up and everything and stuff like that. And I told him too. I'm like, dude. He was like, y'all. He was showing me. Like, oh, this is ghetto. I'm like, dude. Nah, dude. I you know, shacks and shit like that is different, but like you're good. But anyway, the dude like him, he didn't know because he's only 20. He just turned 20 years old a day before the podcast. So he, you know, wow. I've been banging 25 years, right? He didn't know, like, you know, he didn't know, and it wasn't I didn't take offense to. He's like, yeah, man, I didn't know like you had a YouTube and this stuff like that. So he went back and I guess he just started like, I guess he's like, oh, I didn't know you were doing, like, I was fucking 3 years old when you were drifting here. I'm like, yeah, dude. And it's crazy, man. So it's like, and he went back and then on my thing, you start seeing his name, like. So he start going through my shit, and then I'm like, all right, that's cool. So he's, you know what I mean. And don't take offense out there, guys who listen and watching. When somebody say they don't know you, it's not a. They're not talking down to you, man.
It's not disrespect.
Right? They just don't know. They just
don't know.
They don't know you.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, so check this out. Yeah. And this is just, it just ties into a lot of the didn't know, but then holy shit. So I recently I've been talking bikes a lot, but it's not that I like bikes more than cars. It's just that I'm in a little flavor right now. So I've always been into dirt bikes since I was a child. Before street bikes, it was dirt bikes. Always been Yamaha, right? Now, when I first kind of started looking at street bikes, I was right when the Rough Rider thing happened.
Yeah, everybody.
Wink 1100. I'm watching Wink 1100 boys. I was like, damn, that's going hard. Then I'm watching this and that. I'm from the area where Darius is from. Darius was our premier son.
Right.
Watching Darius led me to Star Boys and the LV Extreme and all these other high-profile stunners. When I got older, I started looking at the hood shit. Hood shit was dirt bikes. The premier area for dirt bikes, Baltimore, Philly,
Oclock boys.
those areas. Dude, I didn't know anything about this culture like that. Now, here's how life works. Because you have this supercomputer in your hand, because you have this social media networking thing in your hand, I was responding to DMs like I always do. Random people. I don't know them. I don't follow them. One day, somebody DM'd me, "You be going hard. I follow your shit. Shout out to you. I like when people are fathers and they mix their stuff in together. You doing your thing." I'm looking at this DM and I'm like, cool, thanks. My favorite thing is the handshake, like, yes, sir, like we shaking hands. But I look at dude's name. I click on this joint because I do this to a lot of people. If you have an interesting name or something sketchy. This motherfucker is a stunt man and he is legendary in Baltimore.
No shit.
As a street rider. Yo, mind blown.
Yeah.
What the fuck? These type of people follow me?
Yeah.
This type of people are interested in what I'm doing?
Yeah.
So I started linking with bro. This man is a legend. This man accidentally became a Hollywood stuntman. But from the roots, from the grassroots, hood kid, Baltimore street rider, all of the legends respect him. Go Hard Boys. It doesn't matter where at. This area knows dude. He's one of them ones. From me looking at his stuff, it was a branch. I started just looking at this, that, the third, this, that, the third. Found they have a podcast called Let's Take a Ride. These two legends, Willie Wayne and Shane. You start looking at all of the OG legends from all of the areas. They do New York. They do that tri-state area. They do that top side of the map. I'm looking at Al Capone. I'm looking at all of these people from all over, and I do the history. I'm like, damn, this is crazy.
Connected it is, man.
Yeah, I'm like, but then you learn more about the culture instead of just what you see the dirt bike. I'm asking Shamar. I'm like, hey, yo, tell me about this. Tell me more about it. I'm looking at his interviews so that I don't ask him stupid questions that I can look up myself, right? So I'm looking at all of his interviews and everything. And they're telling, yeah, man, it was legendary. Al Capone was saying initially, we started doing this 83, 82, 84, 85. You wanted to use Yamahas. Yamahas was the shit. He had gold medallions and pendants. Yamahas. He's wearing hats. Yamahas. This is in the 80s, bro. Shamar's saying the Yamahas are legendary because their brakes work all the time. Hondas, no, you loop that bitch out. You got to be loose on that brake because the brake may not be there for you. And they telling you why they're using specific things and this and that and that and this. Then you start learning the move. Oh, no, you new Bike Life cats is weird. Y'all just be saying Bike Life for the clout. Bike Life, you can't be Bike Life unless you really had a Baltimore police chase.
Gotcha.
Baltimore police chase is different.
Yeah, because they don't do that shit no more, for the guys who don't know.
Helicopters, helicars. He say we used to get on the bikes. This other cat say we used to get on the bikes and we get on the bikes at like 8 and 10 in the morning, but we've been running from the police until 7 and 9 at night. And then everybody like, all right, we finally shook the police. Y'all ready to ride? And it's like, yo, we've been riding all day, but they've been running from the cops. And they're like, if you survived a real Baltimore police chase, then you could say no panic zone. Then you could say your Bike Life. But then I'm like, those are the ground rules of their culture, right? I only know the street bike shit from California. Well, I've been in hella high speeds, right? But ours is like that. get your stupid ass away from me, man. Split lanes, boom, boom, boom. Right? So it's like, you really got to be a rider to do our thing, but it's an intense real quick. They're saying it's kind of like the same thing. You really got to be a rider. But theirs is like, you really got to be a rider and sustain a chase through the city all day.
Yeah.
You ain't falling, you ain't drop your bike. You got to somehow find in that calamity with the helicopter on you and 10 cop cars chase you through the city. You got to find out how to get that 2-stroke oil put in that container and pull up to the gas station, pay for the gas, get that in, fuel up, and then bounce before the police hop out the car and get you. Right. Like, it's a real, you know what I mean?
Like, and on that real quick, man, this is not to bring negativity to the thing, man. The guys who don't know what we're talking about, fortunately, man, inner city life. You got inner city stuff going on underprivileged people. So what he's talking about, a lot of those bikes were acquired tactically from people, and then
it is what it is. They've even said they were still some were stolen.
I know for a fact because I know when I grew up in my house, there were those. The area, right? I guarantee you, there was there was always two, and I was young, so they always looked big. So they were like 125s or 250s, something right there. Yeah. So they were always in my basement. The basement always smelled like fucking like
2-stroke oil.
Now I know what 2-stroke. I didn't know what 2-stroke was back then, but now I'm like, man, that's what I fucking remember smelling when I was growing up. Because my uncle did it, and one of my cousins, he wasn't, and he's dead now, rest in peace, or some other stuff. He wasn't. He was like trying to act out and do it, but then he wasn't really about it. And I think he fell off when he ran from the cops. He just felt the bike and he broke his leg. He was in the bed for a while and everything.
There's a lot of stories I've been looking at. Man, so that same incident. Right. Yeah.
So the thing, and the guys that are again listening to watching don't know what you're talking about. Back then, the cops will pursue, and then naturally, you got a dude on the bike, no gear. He falls off.
You're riding like this.
Yeah. You
just like this.
You fall off, you're gonna fatality.
And Baltimore is swaggy.
Right.
They dressed. They got the frames, or they clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you start doing dudes are riding a bike with long tees and shit, man. Like this was,
you know what
I mean? Like so so dudes are doing all this shit with a tee dragging it. That fucking tee get pulled up in that goddamn
5X tee.
It's like
on that
man. So then the guys in Baltimore, Drew Hill Park there every Sunday. They were going to roll through there around about this certain time and everything. They were going to come through there. And then you get the dudes who were like hating on them because they couldn't do it. Like, man, these bitch ass niggas or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, they want to be on there, but you can't ride a bike. And then you got the dudes who can't even touch the fucking ground. They getting helped up on a bike. These are like...
they have a squadron of kids ready to rock right now. 12 and under.
Killing it.
Riding big boy bikes.
There's a documentary on YouTube. If you guys just put 12 O'Clock Boys.
12 O'Clock Boys. That's what the latest movie, Charm City King, is a spinoff of that documentary of the younger brother of the kid from 12 O'Clock Boys.
Okay.
It's it's crazy. I'm telling you, dude. I fell down a rabbit hole and was like, yo. Like, I've known about it, but I didn't know that about it. It was not something that I paid attention to because, you're always like, oh, I'm good on what I'm doing over here. But, now that I'm sitting around, I have time, and I'm looking, and I'm like, yo, you fall down the rabbit hole. Instead of me consuming my mind with conspiracy theories and all kind of other, what kind of cultures am I into? Like, the car culture, the motorcycle shit. And like I said, I started to realize when I said, yo, this legendary motherfucker follow me and is into my shit. Cool. Well, let me follow him and reciprocate and look. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is crazy. So then all of the people I'm starting to respond, I respond to everybody anyway, but I'm starting to respond to, and I look at their shit. Dog.
Yeah.
Willie Wayne's nephew is following me. He's talking. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? You people's following me.
Yeah.
It's like these are legends following me, and their kids is following me, and they're friends. And it's like, how did that happen? Did they happen to see he commented or liked my shit, and then they jumped on it and looked to say, oh, he's fucking with it? Is that how it works? But that's how social media moves. And I'm like, yeah, this is tight, dude. So and then ironically, when I got this TV show thing happening, dude is a stunt man, and I hit him and say, yo, I got this thing going on, and he's telling me have fun with it. It's a start. It's this and that, and then I started looking into more stuff, and it's like, I'm too old to be a stunt man and shit now, but that used to be my aspiration. Like, honestly, that was like, like when I first started talking to him and realized what he did, I said, I used to want to be a stunt man so bad when I was a kid. That's the reason I learned how to drive the way I do and ride the way I do. I've been doing this since I was 17, 18. Like, I just was too lazy and too complacent with making money. I never pursued that. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? This was like, it's really cool, but those are the cultures. And so then that's why when you're from that area, that's why I was like, how did you find drifting? Because from what I know in your area, fools was outside early.
Yeah, it was only I grew up around it, man. I grew up, dude. I mean, it was just it wasn't I'm not bullshitting, dude. It wasn't a day that it wasn't like 4 or 5 dudes riding by me. My aunt be like, stay back.
That's
and then, like,
what he said.
I was seeing him like doing it. I'm like, all right, cool. And my aunt, it was people who were cool with it, and there was a group of people who was like, they felt like they were bringing the community down because they were bringing cops there and shit like that. So I'd be like cheering it up. They'd be like, nah. I remember by one family member being told, don't do that. And then by my uncle, he was like, man, that shit's cool, man. You see how he dragging that shit? And he got that. So it's like the motherfucker he's scraping the goddamn the rear guard on the ground when he's doing the 12 o'clock news. 12 o'clock news.
If I can get Shamar, because he's busy, he does a lot of shit. Yeah. If I can get Shamar, y'all gotta talk because y'all got the same Florida accent.
They link that shit up, man.
If I can, I'm gonna make that work because it's funny because me being from California, we speak very direct,
but I understand
proper things, right? The way we say things is proper. When y'all say to and do and all of that shit, it's so funny. Like, I'm used to it now because I talk to you a lot, I talk to him a lot, I look at a lot of videos. But when it first started, the toot boy with a do and
dude, it was worse. It was worse, man. When I go back and look at my old shit from like Street Fire, remember Street Fire?
When you had the heavy accent,
I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck was that? like, I mean, dude, I don't really. I mean, I don't know what my accent is now.
You still got it. You still got it. But but the heavy turf accent from your area,
And then you think you talking proper, but you like, man, that's like
it's regular to you.
Yeah, man. But hey, man, definitely, I was going. That stuff like that. I don't force it, man. But hey, if the relationship is there, I'll be down to talk to him and definitely.
And you're in Japan, so you're a whole nother area, and it'll be cool if people catch on to your shit, and you're bringing something there. So. Oh God! Now this is making more sense. It has to happen. It has to work, right? So 2-stroke dirt bikes make a distinct sound.
Right.
They do a thing called tuning. You get the wheelie up, and they do it with the dirt bike, right?
Dude, that sound.
But then they got more advanced. They got to the point where like. And they tune them. So that's called tuning. Boso cats be up there. Dude, if we can mesh that, that would mix. Japanese fools will start doing that in wheelies. Can you imagine somebody fucking doing the I forgot what the Boso thing is called, what the rev is called. It's called something specific.
Man, I don't know what that shit annoying as fuck, man. That shit, I've been around it. I'm like, dude, like they on like 110 cc's, because 110 and under you don't need that shit, man. They be like,
but they do a mixture, right?
Yeah.
And it's that culture. Like I said, I was looking up shit for cultures. That culture specifically uses a certain type of clutch because they want the drag sound. Right. They want a specific bird to make the tone. And they're sitting there, they hold the back brake, and it's a tone modifier when they let the clutch slip. But you think if I did that on my R6, and I go to try to ride it, that motherfucker would be slipping and blown out. But they do that all day, having meets, competitions, and still can ride the bike.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, can you imagine somebody do a wheelie in Japan, get that motherfucker on balance point, rock that shit back doing a coaster, because that's what it is, pulling the clutch in, sitting on the wheelie, and hitting the fucking oh my God,
on a fucking tight. Rainbow Bridge in Yokohama. Like,
yeah.
It's like, dude, hey man, like, we definitely
if I could put that together, dude.
We'll chop it up offline because I want to get their names and everything, and I'll segment this out and send it to them and everything. But yeah, man, it's like, and that's the thing. Like, you're a Cali dude, and I mean, honestly, I didn't know these guys. I didn't know. I mean, I know a lot of people who ride, but I don't know them like that because that wasn't my thing. Was I was doing drag racing and I got to that. But hey, man, you're a Cali dude telling me about dudes in Baltimore and shit. So that's how it works, man. That's how
y'all motherfuckers had the tightest dirt bike scene aside from West, because see, when I grew up with dirt bikes, I only wanted to ride dirt and jump dirt and ride trails and be Jeremy McGrath and all these other motherfuckers, right? I didn't know that fools was out mashing in the streets, rocking wheelies, 80 deep, riding through, running from cops, just hanging, because it's the same fellowship and brotherhood. Right, you'll go to a local dirt spot out here in Cali, and everybody's hanging and chilling. Some guys is riding this, some guys is riding that, but everybody's up on the hill kicking it.
Right.
Look at the same thing in Baltimore. Motherfuckers will be up on the hill kicking it.
So the one thing, like, it'll be like, say it'll be a maybe like wait, probably would never happen, but say like I had the dude on, and then have Pastrana. If I Pastrana's from Maryland, right? But Travis Pastrana. So. And it's like he's a.
How weird would that be if he knew something about the mix?
He's a dirt bike dude that transitioned to the cars, kind of like how Dave Murray, rest in peace, went to Rally 2 and a few other guys too. But I can imagine it because growing up, he's old enough to be in that time frame where he probably knows he either had a bike stolen or he knows somebody who had a bike stolen. So like you know what I'm saying?
Oh my God!
You know what I'm getting at? You know what I'm getting at? You know what I'm getting at? So it'd be like if he grows up, Travis. I mean, I'm not in it. This man, if you guys are there, somebody knows Travis. Don't. I mean, hey man, I'm not saying that he hates people like he hates black people or black dirt bike riders. But the thing about it, even if Travis don't feel like that, I guarantee you, 110% somebody in his circle will have some negative. Yeah, will have some negative. Say like, these motherfuckers stole my bike or stole Tommy's bike or did whatever. Because I know he lived up in the upper part of Maryland. Like, he's from that part. He's nowhere near the city. You know what I'm saying? So Maryland is big, but only people talk about Maryland is fucking Baltimore because that's where shit goes down. That's the wire.
But check it out. You got people like Chino Braxton, grew up 12 years old, 8 years old, riding dirt bikes, and he's a Monster-sponsored dirt biker, motorcycle rider.
And you mentioned he's from the inner city.
It's the same world. Yeah. It's just very different sides.
Right. And they would never under normal circumstances even like get with each other and like, hey man, so this is what we were facing, trying to get it. We wanted to do this, but there was no tracks. There was no funding. And they said that. They said exactly that. They wish they had tracks. There's no funding. Right.
There was nowhere because they do eventually go out and ride trails, and they can ride trails and jump and everything, but they just like riding wheelies through the street while they was getting there.
I'm from Baltimore, man. I'm from Baltimore. I know Brian Deegan. I know Ricky Carmichael. Mm-hmm. Ricky Carmichael was the fucking dude. Like, he was winning everything. And that would come on like the Speed Channel or ESPN back in the day.
Yep. So like, I remember watching Ricky and being mad at Ricky because he was taking down Jeremy McGrath.
Yeah, Jeremy McGrath, all those dudes. So those in Baltimore, I don't know how Cali was. The dirt bike jerseys was a thing for like two or three summers.
Hell yeah,
that was a thing, man.
We used to rock those joints.
Another thing that was stolen. Those were stolen a lot from downtown. So like.
God damn, we gotta just have a culture episode. Yeah. We're talking about culture shit.
Yeah, dude.
Because it's crazy. I know we're coming up on like 3 hours probably.
We'll get here
and
soon.
We're jumping on a new topic.
We didn't talk about the clutch kickers. We'll do that next time, man.
Yeah, I've just gotten so many great ideas now because the cultures are so similar, but they're so distant at the same time. You can look at anything in Japanese culture, something that they've done is organic. And somebody that didn't know anything about what they did over here, they're doing it over here in America or somewhere in the hood, somewhere totally opposite. They don't even have any access and understanding of knowing what each other is doing, but they're both doing it, a version of it. And then if you put them together, and this is like, Oh, word? That's what he was. Oh, this is what we was doing here. Oh shit. Okay, and then they could both get the respect and the understanding of what each other does, and love that about it. And then all it takes, just like the military and hip hop, all it takes is one person, their cousin from the West Coast, gave them some music, and they brought it over to Maryland, or they brought it to here or there. Me and my cousin from Compton, this is him, woo-woo. And then vice versa, they bring one back, and that's how the music used to travel. It's just a mix of culture. One person takes something over to his partners and tell them, oh, this is what they doing over here. Then they, oh, that's what they doing over here. All right, we gonna get on that point because ain't nobody doing that out here, and we gonna get it. We know where it came from. We gonna respect it, but we want to do that right here. And then everybody starts seeing it. Y'all, your little group, they the freshest because they're doing what some cats is doing way over there,
and they flipping it, now.
Yeah,
and like now it's like you watch some of the hip hop shit, right? And the documentaries, which they're getting really good on Netflix and everything, Hulu, and like it's like the hip hop,
That's why my lights is blue right now. You've been watching that big Crippin' shit going on.
I've seen some of it, man.
Yo,
yeah,
and people don't know that they're watching a ton of Crippin'.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot of cripping going on that Hulu show.
I see. I'm gonna check it out. I seen the Witchcom. I didn't watch it fully. I seen the Witchcom before, but it's like the dudes like it was those things, man. Where like, and this is I'm gonna make a comparison here, man. It's like you had hip hop was East Coast. Started in this group, and then it got eventually migrated over. So then it was West Coast, East Coast. That's all it was about. There was nothing. If you was in between, you was in Texas, Atlanta. That was like, get that shit out of here. And then now Atlanta is like the mecca of it all, because they sat here and watched all of us over here on the left and everybody over there on the right, and they say, well, we doing what they do, but we doing what we do with what they do. Outkast, very famous at the Source Awards. The South got something to say, and they were saying that because they were being shunned from the left and the right. Like they was both like, shut your stupid country ass up, boy. Talking. And I was on them. I was on Outkast. I was on Goody Mob.
Yeah.
And I'm Baltimore. So Baltimore, for the guys who don't know, man, Baltimore, like there's a whole thing about like there's a Mason-Dixon line for the historic geography. So there's like the below. This goes back to Civil War shit, because a little of that Civil War shit happened on the East Coast. People don't know about. That was East Coast Virginia. That was all that shit. Cali was like over there, like
North versus South.
Cali was over there, like, hey man, we gonna find this fucking gold.
We was over here being weird liberal motherfuckers.
You gonna find this gold, and then motherfuckers, so we banging over here, and then Baltimore is like that. Baltimore is right in that. Baltimore is like right in the middle of. You could be New York, so I speak fast like a New York cat, but then we got the slow pace like the Atlanta, North Carolina.
And that's what's funny. Me as a kid, I used to always think Maryland was. I was like, yeah, that's that Northeast shit.
Yeah. It's like a mixture. So we got the King shirt, we got the different shit. We eat grits. We got. It's like that. It's like that because dudes will come out from New York, Philly, and do drugs and shit, whatever. And the cats will come up from Florida, Atlanta, and do drugs. So like that culture, that shit exchanges. So then the cats from New York will start to go out to Atlanta because the dudes in Atlanta at the time
I was in Atlanta at that time period.
It was slow.
I moved to Atlanta. I'm a military kid, and I got there at about 1990, 91.
Right.
And I'm like, I didn't want to go outside. I'm like, fuck this hot, sticky, red clay ass, tornado having ass motherfucking place. And then my brother came inside, recon mission. He like, yo, everybody's from New York here.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Because the shit was cheaper. Yeah.
Everybody from New York. And because I'm a hip hop kid, I'm like, oh, so it's like Mobb Deep and Wu-Tang outside? He like,
baggy jeans
I go outside. I go outside in this fatigues, Pendletons, and dreads. And I was like, what? And that's how I learned. That's how I got my East Coastness. Some people be like, yo, when I first came back to Cali, people was like, where the fuck are you from? I'm like, I'm from California. But they like, no, you hella New York.
Like a dude like,
no, I'm not.
A dude like Corrupt, who's Corrupt. I didn't know, people don't know Corrupt's from Philly. Yeah. You would think like, no, that dude's a West Coast dude. Like, nah, bam, 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 this happened.
Philly.
He got some shit.
West like crazy, but he's from Philly.
Right.
But I was in Georgia somehow in the heart of New York. I was like,
Yeah.
Oh, well, this don't make Georgia that bad.
Yeah.
And, because so then I'm going to school and I'm venturing, and then that became my thing. I'm looking at people. I'm like, they ain't from here. And then I'd ask them, where you from? Jamaica. Yeah. Oh, I don't know shit about no Jamaicans. Yeah. What's up with that? Then I learned all that. Where you from? I'm Haitian. Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, same
I
shit.
ain't never
all black.
known people like this, right? But it was all of that was in Georgia at that time, and that's how I learned about a lot of shit. So when I came back to California, I was super cultured. Then that was the first time seeing Filipinos and shit. And I'm like, because I never remembered. I just used to think everybody was Asian. I didn't know specific breakups of it. So because I was such a kid. Yeah, I was such a kid at that point. But when I went to Georgia, I was like, oh, everybody looks like this, but everybody's something different. And I came back as an early teenager. I'm like, oh, well, this is how I get into the mix. And that's how I got to get into Japanese cars. Because I'm like, well, when I was out there, the New York cats was talking about Mazda MPVs and Nautica vans and shit like that. yeah. That's the area I was from, And so I was like, oh, the Mazda joints, the this and that, the Mazda 626s and the Acura Legends. And so I was like, when I came back, I'm like, well, I'm into that kind of shit, Japanese cars, because you know what I'm saying, Japanese and German shit, drop top Beamers and Saabs and the BBSs. Like that's what I knew.
Saab was like you were like the underboss to the dude, the block dude, the BMW and the BBSs was like you were the dude. There was like the car was pretty the Legend. The Legend was like below the Saab. So the legend. Yeah,
that was the hood nigga. The hood, mobbing around, got a little bit of paper.
You was a guy in the block, and then you move up to the Saab. Saab was like the Connect, and then like the BMW was.
He came down from Connecticut in certain areas, and was like, yeah, what y'all doing? Here's how we moving. This is what so and so said.
Yeah.
Oh, word. Then when you saw the what's that Mercedes? It was the big body coupe. The Sledgehammer was this high AMG version, but everybody had those Mercedes.
That's why they would call it. That's why the term hammers from the wheels. Everybody would rock the hammers on everything because they couldn't afford the car, but they can get the wheels. They steal them or whatever.
Yeah.
So you had hammers on fucking. Everything, man. Like Hammer, they're not really the best looking wheels, but it's just a significant wheel to that.
The significant wheel to that car. Yeah. So when you saw that car roll through, he came down and was posting up in Harlem. You said, yo, the man is here. You knew what time it was. Yeah. That's what I'm saying, man. We gotta have a culture episode one day, man. But that's it. I'm going to work on that. We're gonna work on Stan. I want Stan to tell a dope story about being the only man in the pit making shit work in the rain, sleet, hell, and snow. And I'm gonna try to get Shamar on so that he can further, because I still, I've been just having conversations with him, just tell me about that shit, because I know about growing up doing what we do out here on the West Coast, but but you always had, like, even when you look at like the Big U and them talking about their stories in this documentary on Hulu FX, you always did what you did outside, right? Mm-hmm. But you go home and you respect the house, you respect moms and all the shit. But you do this type of shit over here on the West. What y'all was doing there in that Middle East area was the same thing, but involved dirt bikes and shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, we wasn't thinking about that. We was thinking about 5.0 and shit.
Yeah.
We was stealing those.
Fox,
we was stealing fucking IROCs.
Got those tins to keep them clean and shit out there. And
we was high speeding and profiling in those, and y'all was high speeding and profiling on dirt bikes. That's that's hella lit.
They did, but you could tell that. And now that you bring that up, man, that shit is because you don't know people's story where they're from. I remember running into dudes from Atlanta, because Atlanta is like a student exchange shit, because it was a lot of Atlanta dudes in Baltimore, and then guys are going from Baltimore down because it would get too hot. They could still sell drugs, and you guys that were listening, we're not glorifying it. It's just what.
No. Just telling the story. It's documented. Right. It's well documented.
And we grew up in it, so it's what we seen when we was around. So, they would go down there, and the guys from New York would go to Atlanta, because Atlanta at that time, they wasn't with all that stuff. The cops didn't know what it was. They didn't know the green tops, the red tops, the yellow tops. We're talking about selling crack here and stuff. And I never did it.
And there's a freeway
and nobody's stopping you. Nobody's stopping you.
You
So
can go north and south.
New York was hot
and get there.
Yeah, New York was hot for Giuliani was kicking people out. So he's like, yeah, let's go down to Atlanta and sell this shit until if you watch a good movie to watch from that is Belly. Belly.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Belly is a good movie because the dude was like, I don't like that shit. I don't like that shit at all. And that was a dude from fucking Don't Be a Menace. Well, not.
Yep, that was no. Yeah, Menace Society. That was fucking Kane.
Yeah. So Kane was like, I don't like that shit.
I don't like that shit. You know, fucking banana.
So that's what I'm saying. The dudes, there was guys in Atlanta already pumping, but they was under the radar. The New York cats come down there, they bring the fucking
they
ATF.
Slower, more relaxed. Yeah. New York cats is fast paced. Get this money. What's popping? This, that, the third. It was a lot of crazy shit.
That movie right there is a great example of what we talked about from Atlanta shit. I don't know if there's a good one, but again, when you mentioned the Fox Body, the 5.0s, there was a dude in them. I remember this growing up. There was a guy in my town who had the Fox Body with fucking Dayton's on it. I'm like, what the fuck are these wheels? You know what I mean?
He's a West Side.
He didn't have no hydros on it though, so it was fixed.
But he just had the D's. He Menace Society.
Like,
yeah, that's LA style.
Yeah, and the shit was lowered. You know, it looked dope as
fuck.
That
was LA style. Yeah. Here in the Bay Area, we're north of LA, but our style was it was spokes. It wasn't Dayton's, but it was spokes. A lot of people get it mixed up. Clearly, something is very different. Our fitment was different. It wasn't kicked out. It was flush fitment,
right?
Which is ironic that us Japanese.
So the one on the Kane's joint, what was that?
Those are Dayton's.
I got you.
You got the big knockoffs, the fucking pokey, small diameter. Yeah, those are. And the reason they say it like that is because it's an adapter that goes on the hub.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that until I found it out last year.
Yeah, they're basically center locking Porsche rims.
Yeah, I told the dude. I felt a Japanese dude telling a black dude about because he had Dayton's on. He had the whatever shit. He had the little 3-spoke thing on it, right? So I'm like, I can't do that.
They're knockoffs. Right. And they have a little a hammer.
Yeah.
You beat that motherfucker till it comes
loose. The Japanese cat is telling the black cat in Japan how to. He's like, no, it's the lugs on there. You just gotta take the thing off. I'm like, what? And I was like, oh shit, I didn't know that. I didn't know it was a adapter like a you want to go from 4-lug to 5-lug.
Spacer, yeah.
So like, oh shit, like that was. I was like,
and so what we would rock was spokes, and we like to ride. And this is just Bay Area culture. We like to ride mustard and mayonnaise, trues and vows. The trues are the true laces, straight laces, lace-spoked wheels. That's the trues. And then your vows was your tires, black tread pattern, white sidewall with the mustard. So that's where the mustard and mayonnaise came from. So everybody has their specific car. So like a 5.0 Mustang is like legendary everywhere, even in Miami. Vanilla Ice, his story, he said he was rocking an IROC and got tired of getting his ass whooped by 5.0s. And he didn't know why they were faster. He didn't know how they were faster. He was cruising his IROC and said, F that, I'm getting a drop top 50. And that's how he got his Fox Body. Yeah. So Fox Body Mustang was just legendary. But see, Florida had the Saline style. They had the Saline looking setup body kits on theirs. LA was spokes and all the gold trim and this and that. Northern California was clean as shit, candy paint and spoke wheels or trues and vows on their cars. So it's funny, all of these cultures, like I said, they didn't know each other. Yeah. Or maybe because of how everything goes as a hub, somebody from the West Coast came out to Miami and was like, yo, we be on Mustangs, and maybe put somebody up on Mustangs, and then maybe that spread rampant. Like, you never know. There's really no way to completely connect the dots.
It definitely go down, man. Because again, the fact that I never owned. I'm 37. I never got my. I bought my first American car in Japan. It was Eddie Bauer Ford Explorer right hand drive. It was converted, and
those was hood mobbies.
Yeah. So like I got that, and I got it's outside right now, about 100 yards from me right now. I use it for like moving shit around. And
what year?
It's like 90. Is 90. I can't remember what it is. Eddie Bauer, whatever year Eddie Bauer started doing a little.
So it had to have been like 93 to 97 or 90.
They got the whole tan interior, Eddie Bauer.
Yeah. That's the reason why, because I got 2 expeditions. So one is Eddie Bauer, because that's just for the hood. And one's the executive package, the later model EL, and it's just the long, But the Eddie Bauer was for the hood, man. I remember my pops had an Eddie Bauer. Everybody had an Eddie Bauer Explorer.
Yep.
And it was just, it's just like New York, having the MPV. For the Nissan Quest, but it wasn't just the MPV. You had you had the Nautica version, or the, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, you got that, but you got the one, like you got the Nautica one.
Yeah, the one. If you guys check out the 36 chamber video, it's in there when they jump out of it. That's MPV, black MPV. They jump out, and they always, if you look at any early Wu-Tang, like they always reference that car, man. They didn't get no money off of it, like the like Outkast and the Polaroid shit. But what I was saying, man, was again, I'm an inner city cat, so when I met my guy Jarvis Hall, which is gonna be on soon. Like there was all Civics and all this stuff, and I'm like, cool, man, I'll go with this. And then, all the guys in my school, everybody had the Marauders and the Crown Vics. That's a Baltimore thing. Mm-hmm. Crown Vics. I'm not sure how it is in LA, but Crown Vics, the Crown Victorias, the Mercury, fucking cop cars. Said the cop cars. I'm like, man, is that a fucking cop behind me, or is a dude? Mm-hmm. There's a fucking dude in a white tee. And you be driving slow.
Filling with his partners.
Hate that
with
shit,
a trunk
man.
full of beat, with still got room for beers and kegs and all the shit. Like that's how the Explorers got popular out here, because you roll with your homies, you have hella slam, and so when I was in Atlanta, everybody was on the Sidekicks and the Samurais.
Right.
Like there's always a point in time where the vehicle, that's it.
Yep.
And it was because they like Jeep culture. Jeep culture was tight. They were putting spokes on them fucking little vehicles, but they were so versatile. They'd have them either set up like mini trucks, or they'd have them set up like, but everybody had hella beat. And if you know about the Sidekicks and the Samurais, there was no trunk room for them to have that much sub behind those seats, just bamming with the top off. But it's very social. You mob up with your homies, you see some bitches, and it's like, yo, you can just stand up out of it. Yeah. Go to New York.
Cheap on gas, cheap on fuel.
Jeeps.
Cheap on fuel too.
Yeah, they roll with Jeeps. And New York was super swaggy. They take the whole fucking doors off and the top. So you not only just got your legs swinging while you mobbing down the street, you got your shoes showing, your nice Timbs or your Air Forces. It's like, you know what I'm saying? And then over here, we would do Jeeps or shit like that, but it was a whole different style. It's so tight, like, just putting it all together. Yeah. There's always something that everybody does, but we don't know about it. But we're all super similar, but we just have our own twist on it, and that's super cool. So one day, I really want to connect the dots and put certain individuals in place to speak with other individuals
who never knew each other.
That don't know. Yeah, that's the whole goal of this social media thing. You may not know each other, but if somebody knows somebody, put it together. Yeah. If they're real similar, like my homeboy, when we went to school, when we first came back from Georgia, nobody knew my brother and I were brothers. We hung with different groups of people, but we'd all come home and we come home together and, this is what so-and-so and them doing. Oh, this is cracking, woo, woo. So we kind of share each other's experience. And then one of my homeboys was just like, yo, you act real close to like my other boy, man. Y'all got to meet. And I'm like, word, okay, cool. And then he told me one day, man, my partner Chad, y'all real similar. And I'm like, oh, he been talking about my brother the whole time, but he didn't know. And I didn't say nothing about it. So then when he go put us together, because that's how shit happens. You put your homies together, you cool over on this side, you cool on this side, you put your homies together, and we acted, oh, what's up, what's good, and then we stand next to each other, and he's looking, he's like, why y'all motherfuckers look alike? Like, you ever notice our last name? He's like, swear to God, y'all brothers. Like, yeah. But it was so funny because we were so different, because we were in an environment in Georgia that we got to pick what culture we wanted to look like. It influenced us. Right. So my brother was Lost Boys, New York.
Gotcha.
I was I was Cool G Rap New York. I wore polo shit and you know what I'm saying, Nautica boots, and I was that type of what Nas turned into be after he got older and quit wearing fatigue shit.
Right.
I was the firm Nas. That's what I was. My brother was Lost Boys, wearing hockey jerseys and all this shit. But we were, very similar. We just appeared very different. And it was just because we picked from culture, because we were military kids at the time, and we were fish out of water, out of our element. So we came back to California. It's like, ain't nobody in Cali doing this shit right now. We're going to keep doing this for a minute until we, phase out and start getting to the normal. But yeah, that shit, man, putting cultures together is like real tight. I like that shit. So that's why it's like dope that you're out there in Japan. You speak the language. You're embedded in the culture. You're doing things, even though, shit takes time to blow up. One day you will. Yeah, one day you will. But it's going to be dope that you're from America in this place that's known for or normalized to doing this thing, but you're in Japan doing something totally different. You're in the cars and all of the shit, and then you got your passion running for you. So that's like super tight. So I try to do my best to make sure I can keep linking you on what's really going on out here and all that shit.
That's why I you up, man.
Yeah, man. And I feel that's tight. That's what this shit's all about, man. Linking things that you don't have clear knowledge of, and informing, because dude, I'm telling you, I be falling down rabbit holes on this shit.
And that's the best. That's the best shit right there too, because there's no worse person, man. Being envious is one bad trait I steer clear of, and also a know-it-all who don't know shit. Like if you're like a Elon Musk dude, and you definitely know how this shit works, then you can't knock the dude because he definitely knows how it works. But when you be like, yeah, man, I know how that works, and like, nah, dude, you don't. So when you talk, then when you let a motherfucker talk, and you be like, yeah, dude, you don't. That right there can.
And that's exactly it. Now, you don't know it all. How you know? Because I've been listening to you talk, motherfucker. Yeah. You don't know what you're talking about.
I act like I didn't know it. And I was like, all right, later. That's all I need to know, man. So, like, that's when somebody asks me, do I know somebody or would I know something? If I know it, yeah. If I don't, I don't. And if I don't know somebody, I don't fucking know them, because they'll try to test you. And you don't know, man. People, not saying that you live your life by a test, but that you could be failing.
No, but they do that.
Right, you could be failing.
They do that a lot.
You could be failing a test for somebody, honestly, that can open up different
doors
even
know it.
to your life, man. Like I mentioned in this podcast, the Fortunato shit. The dude hit me up, and on behalf of Fortunato, somebody at Fortunato asked him to ask, do he know somebody in Japan? He hit me up. I was like, nah, I'm repping these guys. I'm good. He was like, all right, cool. And that was the last of that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying I need Fortunato, but, I never know what could have came with that if I would have
what could have came about, right?
If I would have paused for a couple seconds,
because you could have said yeah, and then they started linking with you,
right?
And then they got another business that they're cool with, and say, yo, how'd you get into Japan?
Yeah.
Oh, my guy over here. I put you in contact with him. And then you never know how that could have spidered into other things. Like that's what, speaking on saying that you don't admit that you know something until you know that you know. So like people ask me, yo, you know about so and so, and I'll be like, nah, not really. Then they'll be like, oh well, and then you be like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about as far as that goes. And then you tell them, and then you're like, oh yeah, you know what you're talking. Well, I know a little bit, because you don't want to claim like, oh yeah, I know what I'm talking about, because then it could be a whole nother direction of different shit. And like, oh nah, I don't know that much of it. But it's
and then you
never know. As long as you're open.
And where we from, man, like people. This is like, I guess, some street smart shit. You've been on both coasts. Yep. If that shit like that, unfortunately, man, we talking real, man. Stuff like what we're saying right now is gotten people killed, man. You saying you heard somebody say some shit, and then you speak on it because you want to appear to be cool to this guys. He goes back and say, hey, Wishcom said it. He said this. And you be like, oh really? Let me get with him. That turns into a scuffle. Somebody gets shot. All the ways people get shot in the city, man.
The West Coast is the land of the Smirkish.
Yeah.
There's watch that documentary on
I'm gonna check it out.
They are telling a lot of information, because that is how the West Coast works. There's a reason why a lot of people get killed when they come out here.
Yeah.
It's because how the West Coast happens, there's always somebody that's an underman for somebody else. That's an underman for somebody else that knows that everybody works for this person. You could be fresh off the boat, fresh off a plane, fresh off a bus. Somebody's at the bus station and they look over their shoulder and say, "Ooh, that's what's her name."
Yep.
Yeah, I'm over here on so-and-so.
You've been on the ground for 5 minutes.
Just hopped out. A meal just hopped out. Yeah, be around the corner about, yep, this is where I'm at. Cool. And you don't know. You happy-go-lucky, about to go do a show, about to go get some money, get a bag, but you've been lined up the second you set foot off of whatever transportation.
You're talking about this before social media. This is
I'm talking about I'm not talking about right now.
It's bad.
Location. This is where it is. Yeah. No. This is literally somebody went, put a quarter in, and hit the payphone and said, "Yeah, I'm over here. I'm gonna watch him." And then they walk over to hold you in the area. "Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Yeah, what's up? Can I buy you a beer?" You know, and you don't know. You think that this is what I say, the land of the smirkish. You think you just met a friend.
Yep.
They're being super cool to you. You told them, "Oh yeah, I'm so-and-so, and I'm just here to do such and such." And you done told them something super wholesome. "Yeah, my granny's, she's super sick, and I'm just trying to do this to get some money for her. That's really the whole reason I got into entertainment, man. I'm just here to do something for my family." And they like, "Oh, word. So you saying you about to do a show? You about to get some money?" Yeah. And then what they do is, now they got some more information out of you because you got comfortable with them and you told them something. And then they go get on their phone. No, hold off. He's about to go do a show and get some money. We gonna hit him after the show. Now you didn't invite a dude to the show with you.
Yep.
You thought this is your new partner. Land of the Smirkers. He's acting all good. He's all for you. 1 for 1, 4 for all. Until you get that money. And then all of a sudden you look around and it's like 20 cats around you, man. And he done did you in. And you like, "I thought you was my friend."
Yeah.
But that's how LA's always been.
That Hollywood shit that people watch, they be like, "Oh, that's friend." Like, nah, every movie you see is based off real events, man. It's
then exaggerated.
Yeah, been exaggerated.
I grew up. Yeah. Anytime people ask me something, I don't know shit.
That, and also like,
I know what you're talking about, and why are you talking to me?
Right. And then like people like they don't rip my wife. She's like she don't know I'm in Japan, man. I'm miles away from Baltimore, thousands of miles. And when we go out, she was like, "Oh, when you go to the track, people think I look mean, but you should talk to them first and do this and that." Like, dude, it's just where we from. You don't. Not. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but it's just it's a good thing. I mean, you know when you let down your guard.
I'm still the type when I was gone filming.
Right.
I was gone for 2 weeks. Nobody knew I was gone for 2 weeks. I was still posting stuff like I was around, posting pictures of the sky and this and that, like I was at home.
Right, because you got some dude up there like, "Oh man, his family is alone and shit like that," and people, motherfuckers follow.
Never want that to be. "Oh my God, I come home and really kill people." If something ever happened while I'm gone and people did it because they knew I was gone,
real shit,
Lord have mercy.
Real shit. The guys out there who are listening and watching, man, you got it. This social media is great for like this. When me and Lexis talking, we're talking about hooking up with Willie Wayne and all those guys like that. That's where it's cool for. But like we call it in military, and you were military, you probably heard it. Is OPSEC, Operation Security, man. Like that shit. You don't let Bin Laden and them know how we're moving, and you saying, "Oh, we got 30 guys," and it seems like minute shit. Like we got 30 guys that are deploying to Djibouti, like that shit. That so we know we got 30 military people moving to Djibouti, and next week, that's letting that, like, again, like you just said on a payphone. Now that dude calls and like, "Hey man, they got 30 people on the way to Djibouti, set up at this rally point, and then we're gonna take them out." 30 people dead.
Yeah, set up. It's a waypoint. They're close
30 guys
to get in position quick.
30 guys,
so they can't get away.
30 guys dead on the spot, dead before they even before the mission even start. Done. And like that's just like, you know what I mean. So like when you out there, guys, like, I mean, I still do it now. People try to get intrusive. They like action. Like, not one guy. This one guy. I mean, it happened about a year ago, and I still remember because I actually don't like the guy, and he knows I don't like him. We at the junkyard. I'm pulling that 1UZ. I'm pulling the 1UZ for the 180. Right. He comes up to me. He knows I don't like him because I already got back to him that he was like running his mouth about my situation. I'm like, "Look, next time you come up, we're gonna have words." So the guy that he talked to got back to him and said, "Hey man, chill," because he knows you're on his radar. So he knows. He knows. So when he sees me, you could do two things. You avoid or you make the awkward conversation, which you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right.
Make the awkward, hey man, what time is it? We're like, man, get your fuck out of here, man. So
hey,
so what he asked me was like, so man, what you doing, man? He sees the fucking 1UZ behind me on the ground, right? Hey man, what you picking up? I was like, I'm picking up parts later. And I moved like I want nothing to talk about.
That short.
Part.
This is all the conversation.
And his face was like, I can't believe it. I'm like, yeah, it's nothing because I know what you were saying about my shit. I could punch you in your face right now, or I could just keep moving. So I was like, parts.
Right.
I was like, parts, and kept it moving. Because this guy is one of those guys who I run a business. He's one of those. He want to run a business, but he keeps hustling, and like you know what I mean. And then like and when the names get thrown around or who to go to, his name gets thrown up because he does shit out of order. So motherfuckers want to operate out of order and get it for cheap. I'm in order,
right? And
they know they're gonna pay the full premium, so they don't come to me for the parts or whatever, tires or whatever. So I'm like, all right, I mean, do your thing, man. I'm running a business. You're here for 2 years and you're out and everything. So it's like, don't when you're faced with the, you know, just not street shit. When you undercutting somebody and you eventually run into them, odds are it's not gonna go good for you, man. Especially if you don't got the soldiers, and this is where.
Dude.
You ain't got to be street. I was around it. I was not a street guy. I was in it. I grew up in it, but I was not a street dude. I just you knew I was around it, so you
just are of the environment.
I seen it.
You're not. Yeah, right. You're.
So I knew what not to do and what to do, and I knew in certain situations I would act like I was street to get out of certain things because if you didn't, you would get shit stolen. You would do this. In that situation, like, I do know Pookie actually, and that's all. I'll leave it at that. I know him; he knows me. So when you ask him a question, he knows. My name is Chub. My name is Chubby. So he was like, "Yeah, I know Chubby." So that was it. There was no trouble for me because I actually didn't know him, but I didn't say I knew his girlfriend. I didn't give you information on him.
Right.
I just said I knew him, and that was it. And then I got the pass, and I was able to go home with my shit, with my tennis shoes on. You know what I'm saying? So.
Man, and that's so real.
Right.
God dang. We culture shock people.
Yeah, we did, man.
We are very grown, upstanding, mature individuals.
Kids and families and more.
Boy, we could tell you some shit.
Yeah, so that's a whole different. So we just hit 3 hours and 1 minute, man. I'm gonna get out of here, man, and gotta get this chopped up, but it's easy to talk. And I'm gonna also with this podcast, I'm gonna start doing a timestamp so people can see what we talking about. They click on it and shit like that. So. But man, I look forward to definitely linking up those guys, man, because that'll definitely
I'm gonna put this together. This is my homework. I'm gonna work on this.
Yeah, man, let's do it. So let's do that. So, man, you got any events coming up? Anything to plug? Anything like that?
Sonoma Drift coming back up. I'm gonna start doing. Oh, I can't say this because it'll give away something else, but I've got a build that's gotta happen. So. I've got some dope shit. I can't talk about the TV show yet. The second that they tell us that we can promote, I'm going to be firing off. I've got vlogs already edited and on standby waiting for that. It's going to be a dope time. It's time to do nothing but have fun. Somehow it looks like the world is opening back up and miraculously COVID's tapering off. If the world ever gets back to normal, please believe, while I've been sitting home for a year, networking with people, talking with people, using social media as it's supposed to be, please believe when the world opens up, I'm about to start touching down in places and giving high fives because it's about time if it does. And it sucks that we had to sit down a year and not shake hands with people. Yeah. And like this is normal attire now. I just always have a mask hanging off my ear because now anywhere you go, you can't get in without it and shit like that. But I mean, I don't think that this is going to go anywhere. I don't think this is going to change. I feel like we are going to always have to have masks. Yeah. I think China had it right for a while, and we all sat and looked at China wearing masks and made fun of them.
Yeah, Japan was big on it. Yeah. All of the Asian culture. It was the Asian culture thing, man. they kind of polite. They got.
If you sick, mask up.
Yeah.
If you think people are sick, mask up.
The reason why is, the guys that don't know, the reason why is because in America we get sick leave days, right? Depending on
they don't out there.
Yeah, they're like, nah, you breathing, come to work. Put the mask on, so that's what they do it out there, man. So there's definitely a thing out there, man. We definitely gonna link it up and stuff like that.
Dude, like, I swear, if this shit opens up as they're trying to say, it was an Apple alert earlier today. It said America's gonna open back up if we keep staying diligent as how we're doing it right now. This pandemic will be over by spring. Man. I'm like, how y'all know?
Yeah, well, I got when we get offline, I got something to definitely chop. It's something the same thing. Where I kind of don't want to put it out there. If it happens, done. But we'll chop it up when we sign off in a second here. But man, it's definitely man, it's fuck, man. It's been a year. Like then, the other day, it's like the other day I was just home and I was, why the fuck all this shit on TV? I thought it was a movie. They were replaying the shit from the earthquake in 2011. In March, because that was the anniversary.
That's been a year, because our Sonoma anniversary was the relief for the last one, 10 years.
Yeah, so it's been, and that much time has passed. It was real sad to see some of the surviving kids, like they were all in line. With no
they're 10 or whatever, 10 years later.
11 years, 10 years old, and I was like, fuck, man, and it's like, man, that shit. It's like, damn, dude, I'm like mad at this dude for this thing, and I'm mad at, not mad at people, but life happens, man. You got shit going on.
Life happens,
and people, exactly. And people think like, money don't fucking look at the boy Kanye and whole Kardashian shit. They got money. They got money on money, and they still getting divorces and shit and doing whatever.
They say that motherfucker ain't speaking to her.
Oh yeah, and
they got a real awkward situation.
People think and then Drake is in it. I just see it because I listen to the podcast and I hear it in the background, but I don't follow that shit. But it's like, dudes, people think when I get to when I get 100 mil, I'm gonna be good. Like, nah, dude, you're just gonna have bigger problems. You're gonna your shit's just gonna get. You're gonna have bigger problems, man. So it ain't the money. It ain't the level. You can have no money and be happy, but.
I see a lot of bums on the street like that right now.
Yeah, and I'm saying that's what we want to do because we gotta get tires, we gotta do what we gotta do and everything. But
we got our own dramas.
Yeah, but it's like you get wrapped up in a rat chase and a rat thing, even though you think you're above it. But it's like, man, what I mean? When you see shit like that, the kids with no parents, it's like, fuck, man. That could have been me and my wife and my kids. Mm-hmm. Three kids out there with no fucking parents. And they're.
There's kids now that are growing up and their parents died in the towers of 9/11.
Yeah.
They're still around, and that was, 01, wasn't it? Or it was back in the day.
Yep. And then imagine that one coworker, which you see the story, and the dude, like, his daughter was like, hey, Dad, take a picture with me and shit. And then, like, it was a movie. And the dad was like, no, I gotta go. So I think, no, it wasn't. It was a rendition. So the one dad who blew his daughter off went to work. The other dad who took a picture with his daughter or did some shit, he missed his bus or something like that. He was
late to work.
So he lived, and the guy who blew his daughter off fucking died in the. You know what I mean?
Funny story. Yeah, the Loma Prieta earthquake in like 80 something. Yeah. We made our mom late to work.
No shit.
And she had to leave from work from Alameda, and you got to come out of Alameda into Oakland, then get on the freeway to go across the Bay Bridge to Frisco.
Got you.
Bay Bridge collapsed. Because we made her late for work, she got stuck in traffic and wasn't able to get on the bridge. So we saved our mom's life.
No shit, man. That shit like that.
Is that wild how that shit works?
Yeah, and that's why, like, when I don't know, I it'll be some shit like on not only Saturday, because me and my kids we leave together. That's about as far as I'll give on the information right there. We was talking about OPSEC and I'm about So we generally it's times we're together, we're times not together and shit. I'm trying not to put information out there, but it'll be like on some days when I'm going to leave out and do some stuff like local, and like one kid will be like, "Hey, Dad, like look for the car or whatever," and I'd be like, and I always think about that shit. If I help him look for his Hachiroku, that maybe that one split second, that shit'll stop me from a T-bone. And then like it's been times where no shit, you go out your house, man, you in your house for all 8 hours, 9 hours, and you go outside and some fucking old Japanese chick almost T-bones you, And if you were like 5 minutes later, that would never happen. If you were 5 minutes early, that would never happen. But that you left your house at just enough time to drive 20 minutes away into a T-bone. It's like,
yeah.
But then you can't. If you think like that, then you be fucking in a bubble. You know what I'm saying?
Then you're scared to get out of the fucking bed every day.
Oh man, so like I ain't saying be scared out there, guys, but sometimes, man.
But I always think of it like that.
Right.
I'm always where I'm supposed to be at the right time.
Right.
So if I'm running late, I'm running late. If I'm early, I'm early. If I'm running late, I'm never trying to rush it to get caught up. If I'm early, I'm never like, oh, let me do this and that because I've got time to. It's just like, you know what I'm saying? I'm always in the right place at the right time, and I just live by that. So it's always something.
You got that too. Then you got the I ain't gonna be no fucking hypocrite, man. I've definitely been in the red light. I really don't do when I'm in motion, man. Because you got this a lot now too with the cell phone and the driving. So on top of like regular shit, I see motherfuckers like I'm driving straight. And I see a dude like this, and I'm like, bro, it only take a split second because I know because I've been on the phone like talking like
I've been there.
Yeah, and I'm like, fuck, I look up and there's like an old ass lady on the side of the road. I could have hit, like no shit. I could have hit this old lady.
Yeah, see, I'm like that too. I may not have swerved or nothing. Yeah. I may not have veered off. I may not have hit the rumble strip or nothing, but I took long doing something, looking at something, just focus off, and then you look up, and even though you're nowhere near it, you just be like, oh shit, I could have just hit that bitch I just barely saw.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, let me pay attention. Or how did I miss that? Or what the hell, like when I do a lot of long driving to LA, and I drove to LA and back, I can't even count how many times. But it's been times that I've been so tired, and I'm like, I'm gonna keep pushing. I'm going to keep going. And I don't stop. And then I know I veered off to sleep or was on autopilot. Then you catch yourself like, what the fuck? I'm like 40 miles away from the last place I recognized.
Bro.
Holy shit. Yeah. And then you're spending the next 10 minutes looking in your mirrors, making sure you didn't destroy nothing and shit hanging off. You're like, is the trailer all right?
Yeah.
Am I? God damn it,
bro! I've done turning burns. I've done turning burns from Masawa to Yokohama. It's 8.5 hours. So I'll leave my house. I'll leave my house at 2:30 a.m. I get back in Masawa at 12. Like sometimes at 12. Pretty much 12 a.m. Yeah. So I get back at 12 a.m. or I get back like a little bit after, like a 1 hour after 1. So I go. So I spend 24 hours.
You're pushing it, going and
then it's like it's to get back because like my wife's with the kids and everything, and I'm thinking about that, and that's what keep me up. But at the same time, it's like I'm also endangering them because, dude, I remember like 30 minutes. I'm like, I don't remember 30 minutes of this drive. I do not fucking remember.
Dog. God, that's so real.
Yeah,
man.
I don't remember it. In this dark time, it's a straight shot, and then
you've just been staring at the same lines and horizon.
Yeah.
It's been dark for so long. Your eyes are so tuned in. You can see the black horizon and the dark blue, dark purple sky. Yeah. It's been dark for so long. You're just tuned into this, and you just get hypnotized and fall asleep, wake up, and be like, shit, I can't believe I just did that.
Yeah.
But
man.
That scares me more than an actual incident. Yeah, so I know the feeling, but yeah, man, it's
let's get up out of here, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey guys, hey man, thanks for tuning in with this one. This was like one of those ones. Hopefully, this podcast will keep you awake on your journey. For the guys out there, I know Alan always got it in the background and stuff like that, and I mean, it's cool, man. It's like these type of conversations, man. You get to really know people, and it's not a hot hit or a quick jab. Because you can mix all that shit up, and that's why Kanye sound like a crazy motherfucker. But when you sit him on Joe Rogan, you know what I mean? He's like, all right, yeah, he's crazy, but he got a reason behind his crazy. And that's the long format. Like, these are cool. And knows no limit on it. So we'll be doing more of this stuff, man. Guys, just make sure you subscribe to check out Ride Squad. Check out King of Recreation or King of Creation, man.
King of Recreation. It comes.
So if you look,
when you put
KOE family,
it starts to come up.
Yeah. So then I know I just put KOE family, and I mean I got it saved now, but KOE family will bring it up. and things like that. So check out, be sure to check out Lexis' site. If you're on, my page from Lexis, just check out the site, subscribe or whatever, because we go back and forth. And like I said, it's only going to get bigger and better with the, this is going to be, some people don't want to do the Skype shit because they feel like it ain't real if they ain't got. I'm like, dude, if you got fucking Obama on Skype, you got Obama on Skype. That's Obama.
That part.
That's just unless you're talking to an impersonator and shit. It's the same as the dude's giving you the same amount of time. He's just,
deep fake, those deep fakes.
Right.
Yeah.
He's just not right next to you. So some guys are like, that's the podcast shit now where they like, well, I had him in the studio, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm like, what the fuck ever, dude? You know what I'm saying?
Y'all gonna see me in the studio one day. Watch.
For sure. We're gonna be there and we'll replace his tire right there. But either way, guys, just make sure you like
no, I'm gonna be the same as the tire.
like, subscribe, and share, and we'll get it done out there. It's definitely stay tuned to the future podcast. Keep doing your thing, like you said about the before. It ain't about who know you, it's about when they know you, how your shit's gonna speak. So keep
how they respect you.
Yeah, respect you, man. They keep grinding, and then when they know you, they're like, oh man, well, this dude been doing it for 20 years, and I got there from people as recently. Shit. The last I had Love on. Josh. I had Love on, and Love was like, "Man, I didn't know you were. He's straight. And I didn't take it to offense. Like, man, I look back and you were doing this since fucking 02, 03.
Yeah, man.
And he was like, "Oh fuck," I'm like, "Nah."
Take it as a compliment when people say they don't know you, but they took the opportunity to see what you were about.
Yeah,
respect. Yeah. You don't know me, yep, but you look me up, yep. All right.
Yeah, man. So that's how it is. We're gonna leave it on that, man. Get out of here. Again, Lex, be safe out there. Yeah. In Cali, and I'm gonna be what I'm gonna be over here in Japan. Gotta get to work. It's about 12. Shit's fucking damn.
I know. That's why I looked up.
Damn, dude.
Damn, it's 9:21.
It's 120. It's 120. Yeah, it's 121 here, man. God damn, man, 121, man. I hope I have my day over and shit. But yeah, man, we'll get to it. I'm gonna get this chopped up. Well, you're gonna see it by that time and everything. So it's gonna be Don signing off from South Japan. Lex from Cali. We'll see you guys later. Peace.